Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the walking. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls let it tell me I'm awesome. Yeah, hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. We came for one man, forget my peace. You take the west, I'll take on the east. I'ma put him in the cage, never let out the. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys. Not so tough, but mans keep walking. Yeah, just too sharp with the prize. White girls, let it tell me I'm awesome. Yeah, hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
I don't know what to say about Greg Coty not being here. Being late is okay around here, evidently. Greg Cody's mad at us because he's late, and we're asking him to not be late. Everyone else got in on time. Evidently, they were in different traffic.
I took the same route as him. I'm here.
And so he, oh my God, this is going to be steaming. What comes in here right now? No, I can see him in the other room right now. He's just going to lollygag in with his Publix bag filled with whatever, trinkets.
You guys ever seen Jurassic Park where they're hiding from the raptors and the raptor comes up to the door and it snorts and then looks through the window? That's exactly what Greg just did. He walked past the door, looked in the window, and I saw his eyeball, kind of his pupil, dilate.
Greg, come do your job professionally. Arrive. It's the same time every day, roughly. And
now he's like, where do I get my makeup done? In the chair? Out here?
Just bring Jesse on in. We'll turn. No.
Let's go.
Let Jess come on in. No,
2 minutes ago.
That's fine. No. Let's stop the show. It's what he's always wanted. He's sore from dancing at a wedding. It's all about him, baby. And so
I was at a wedding too this weekend. I'm here.
No. But did you dance so much your body hurts?
I danced.
Also, he's on a back-to-back. You're not on a back-to-back, Zaz.
I mean, you act like I don't work other jobs. I worked yesterday.
So does he.
All right.
Greg Coty Show.
I'm here.
Featuring Greg Coty.
On time.
Just the breathing.
You mad at us?
It depends on your attitude. I left my house at 7. It took me 2 bleeping hours to get here. You want me to leave my house at 6 just to make sure I'm
No,
here?
I heard you threaten to quit. Like the traffic might make you quit the Le Batard Show. That would be an unfortunate ending.
Well, what I told him was if I ever quit this show, traffic will be number 1 on my list of
Where do you
reasons.
come from?
From my home in an unidentified Broward city.
I'm in Broward too.
Okay.
I'm here.
What time did you leave?
7:15.
Okay, but you're a 2-time NBA champion.
No, 2-time champion broadcaster.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't misidentify you.
Yeah. So you probably have your own lane, like a Zaslow Express lane.
Matter of fact, the express lanes were closed this morning. I still found my way here. You ever use Waze?
Yeah, I do use Waze.
All right.
Waze
Maybe you
and
got
means.
maybe you got a different version than I do. Mine got me here on time.
All right.
Like a journalist.
Let's just wait till he gets makeup because I think he's so entertaining that he should be allowed to be late whenever he wants to be. He had a big wedding this weekend. His body hurts.
First of all, am I late?
What do you mean are you late? The show started.
I mean, well, you could have waited. Why'd you start it without me? No. Quite
We're
frankly.
live.
He's not wrong.
But
we do a live show.
To be fair, there are 1, 2,
Hi,
3,
Amin.
4. Hey, Greg, how's it going? There are 6 people here. We could have handled it without him. We didn't have to bring it to a screeching
Do
halt.
hellos 4 minutes into the show. You greet everybody.
Yeah. Let's
All
wait
right,
till
whose
he puts-
phone is doing this? Please, who's getting the iMessage constantly? Like, who's doing this? It's going off like crazy.
Is this my computer?
Yeah. I'm getting notifications. It sounds like a MacBook.
I haven't heard anything. There's no one texting anything.
Don't
on it.
gaslight me like that. There is a noise.
Amateur.
I'm still not clear what that word means.
What, amateur?
No, gaslight.
Oh,
You good, Dad?
Put on CNN.
great.
He's getting there. He's fine.
There
man.
it is again.
Are you?
Did you not hear that? Did you not hear that? It was there.
It ain't me.
I think I just shut down equipment I need because you guys instantaneously rightly assumed it was
anyone-
me because his stuff's not on yet.
I also saw you panic once and get your phone out of the way when one of those noises popped up.
Did you guys hear it? Because I actually.
It's there it is again.
All right, who's the
please
culprit?
please tell me it's
I'm
Cody's
deaf.
phone.
No, it isn't.
No, this is pre-Cody. This noise was going off pre-coding. I'm like, oh, all right, I'll let it slide.
Is
the
it
way that we
Zaslow?
started the
No,
show.
I hear it in my ears, which means it's coming from that room.
It's not coming. Oh, dude.
I thought
textbook gaslighting.
I thought
right
it was that room too.
It's not this room.
You feel so good being smug under that mustache.
I am not being smug. I'm being gaslit.
Still not sure what that word means.
I just noticed the mustache.
Let's wait till he gets all this stuff plugged in. I'm sure he's got a ton of basketball thoughts. I'm glad we waited for them because that was a heartbreaking night last night for the.
This is very unprofessional.
Is that your nostrils that are making that sound? Breathing?
I didn't make a sound.
The Florida Panthers lose last night, and I want to get to that game in a second. But the thing that I was feeling last night that I did not feel the entirety of my life that was legitimately confusing to me is I watched that entire Knicks Celtics game, and I did not know at any point who I was rooting for. And at the end, I just decided I want both of them to lose. I can't do this. At the end of this game, this is wonderfully entertaining as sports and television. And the way I feel about both the Knicks and the Celtics fan base make it so that this game, I want the meteor to win. I want both teams to explode, both teams to lose, both teams to get injured, both teams to punch each other in the face and play for seven games that are wildly uninteresting, the way the Celtics are when they miss all their 50s, their 53s and ruin the game. Ruin the game because that's what we're playing now. And I watched a basketball game that had legitimate stakes, and I cared, but only to sort of hate both entities and not want either fan base to win. And it was wildly confusing to me to have that happen.
I think it's in this room.
It just
I've
happened
changed my
again.
mind. I think it's in this room.
You think it's in that room?
It's happening here.
My
What
phone's
made you
off.
think that? The fact that all the microphones were off in here and you heard it? What is happening in there? Take all the equipment out. This must stop. Stop.
I don't think
I think it's you.
it's okay.
It's you.
I understand. Oh, if it's this,
I don't hear it.
If it's that computer over there, someone's getting fired.
Who?
I don't hear anything.
No, we've
He gave the
confirmed.
Matumbo finger.
Is it this computer down there?
If you want to look at my phone and come in here and
a
tell me
Stugotz
if you
computer.
think it's me, I'm not trying
Is
to
that big
conceal
board
it.
No,
behind
it's-
Dan that
it's
looks
a
like a
computer
computer?
noise.
Maybe
it's not
that.
a text noise.
Do you think if I turn this computer off, I'm gonna?
Well, just
I
mute.
think you have to
guys,
slam it on the floor. to
Just
make
mute the
sure.
computer.
It's not a muting thing. It is the sound of a computer
Charging.
that the charge cable
Yeah.
is kind of not connected well. So
Oh,
it
yeah,
it starts charging and then it stops and then it
That's what
starts
it is.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Heard it again.
Maybe it's in the control room and one of their mics is on.
This is very.
I heard it that time.
I heard it, and it's not anywhere near me, and I didn't touch anything. But it sounds like it's coming from over here.
Is it April Fool's Day?
So are you closer to understanding what a gaslight is?
Everybody be quiet. Everybody be quiet.
Okay, there it is.
All right, now it might be Greg.
It is.
It's the
this computer.
Stugotz laptop.
It's a Stugotz laptop that was on the floor.
Not me. Innocent.
Yes.
So Stugotz is fired.
Get that out of here.
Yeah.
Greg Cody
Right,
beats
that he
all
was
charges.
I
Thank
will
you.
tell you guys right now and be as honest as I've ever been. I was sure I was guilty, but I didn't know how. So the accusations from the other room made me lose confidence because I knew it wasn't Cody because his equipment hadn't gotten here. But I heard the sound too. But I also felt like it wasn't my fault. But as I turned things off, I wasn't sure I was turning them off, and now I was scared because we're supposed to be doing a show.
Dan, I'll be honest. When Mike first went off, I was like, "Oh crap! I think it's my laptop." I actually
I
closed
think
my
we
laptop.
I think all of us were like, is
While,
this me?
while we were doing the search, I quietly closed my laptop like so, just to make sure.
But I saw what was happening around me, and I felt a bit framed because there was a lot of confidence in the room over there, and it was.
I apologize. I kind of blame that room. I apologize.
You did, but the confidence that was swaying from that room was not any confidence other than a technological one. We've got this room beat. And
I liked our hand.
No,
You think it was more
you-
likely we framed you than you just made a mistake?
Yes, this is the relationship I have with the room and how ready I was to fight everyone who was making me feel very insecure as I backed away from the microphone, almost sure it was me. Oh, that's as much happiness as I've had in 4 years knowing it was not me.
But it was you, but it wasn't your fault. It was us doing it to you.
Well, somebody did that. Like, somebody put that in here, and so that was not me, and that was just done to our show.
Was that the Stugotz computer?
So, Billy, so forgive me for thinking that you might be an anarchist who would do something to annoy me.
I mean, a little accountability. If it's your laptop, it could be
But
your
it wasn't.
fault.
But it wasn't my laptop. I don't know.
You didn't plant a laptop in
but
there.
you still think that I was responsible for that?
No, I don't think you were responsible.
No. I'm not rooting for a meteor in Boston and New York.
Are you rooting for injury? Like, what are we rooting for?
I'm actually rooting for the Knicks.
A meteor is likely death.
I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I was watching that
Ultimate
game,
injury.
and I was really surprised at how hard I was rooting for the Knicks because, see, I don't think the Knicks have a shot to win the championship, but I do think Boston has a shot to win the championship. And right now, I'm actually enjoying the Knicks fandom. They haven't beaten a really good team all year. They're, 0-11 against the Thunder, the Celtics, and
Not anymore.
And the Cavs.
Nuggets and the Cavs. Yeah, so they got their win over there. They're super excited. They stole home court advantage. I'm enjoying this. In fact, I'm kind of enjoying the Knicks brand right now. And I guess the rivalry is such between the franchises that I hate the Boston Celtics way more than I hate the New York Knicks. So I was actually really surprised at how strongly I was rooting for the Knicks from the jump.
I am 1,000% with you. Mike, my hatred toward the Boston Celtics is so far superior to my hatred of the New York Knicks. Maybe even if you took my hatred of the Knicks back in the late 90s, and certainly my hatred of the Knicks right now, maybe if you took my hatred of the Knicks back in the late 90s and compared it to my hatred of the Celtics right now, it might still be in favor of the Celtics. My hate for them is far surpassed. And here's the thing. The style of play that the Celtics use, it's a vomit. It is unwatchable. They missed 45 three-pointers last night. It's the NBA playoff record. It's the worst brand of basketball. And then you look, I mean, their entire offense, it's dribble the blood out the basketball, right forearm push-off, step-back travel, fadeaway three-pointer. That's their entire offense. And the Knicks, on the other hand, look, I'm going to sound the way I sound. It's kind of admirable the way they play because the NBA player, two things they love more than anything else, complain and not play. And the Knicks, they play. Those guys play. They play heavy minutes. Everyone wants to be critical of Thibodeau. What a crime to play your best players the most you could possibly play them. The Knicks style of play is actually admirable, in my opinion.
I can't abide praise for the Knicks here.
I run with them.
Dude, all the Jeremy Taché, all the Heat fans kind of feel aligned right here, which is like,
He's not a fan.
go Knicks. Go Knicks.
It's totally go Knicks.
Yeah, totally.
It's
100%.
okay to hate both teams, right? It's
I
okay
thought
to
I
hate
did,
both teams.
but when they played each other, I was like, well, let's go Knicks.
I mean,
It is okay to hate both, but which ones do you want to lose more?
I don't care who wins because
come
I
on.
don't like either. Okay, everybody dislikes the champion. The Boston Celtics were the first team I liked because I was born in Massachusetts. You know, Bill Russell, Sam Jones, Havlicek. They were my first team. Right now, I don't care. Everybody hates whoever's the champion. Everybody hates the Knicks because they're the Knicks and because Spike Lee is wearing a Knicks hat at the Met Gala. So everybody hates both teams. I like watching a game where I hate both teams.
Can we take?
I either want a rooting interest or I want an interest
Greg.
where I don't like either team.
Greg, I'm giving you the truth serum, all right? You're there, you're strapped down.
Right.
I have a big giant needle.
Yeah.
And I've shoved it inside your arm
Sure.
with truth serum. It's
Yeah.
in your veins. So you have to tell the truth right now. Which team do you want to lose more?
The Knicks.
Really?
Oh, yeah, clearly. Yeah, there's no question about that. I mean, I don't
Well,
like,
then you're rooting for the Celtics. That's what that means.
it doesn't mean I'm rooting for the
Sure it does.
Celtics. No,
Sure it does.
It means I want them to lose less than I want them to
And the
win.
only way for them the only way for the other team to lose more is if one team beats them. You're rooting for the Celtics.
Yeah, but if the Celtics win that series, I'm not going to be cheering. I hope they lose in the next round.
I need them out of my life right now.
Really?
You think I need the Celtics 2 years in a row? You think I need them in my life?
Can we take away Spike Lee's biggest fan? He went to the Met Gala over Game 1. What?
He was at the Met Gala. I know that because I saw a photo of him wearing a Knicks hat.
Are you positive that that is a recent photo? Because of all the photos that came from that, Spike Lee could be photographed any year at that.
But they have themes. every
Yeah,
year.
I mean, I saw a bunch of photographs from
It was
this
also in
year's Met
Boston.
Gala, including him. So,
Is it Gala or Gala?
well, it's the PFPI Gala, but
Gala.
Gala with emphasis on the G.
So not even Gala, it's a Gala.
Gala. It's the PFPI Gala, But in other terms, most people say gala.
I think gala.
I think gala is the chic.
Confirmed
way to say it.
that he missed game 1.
There you go.
Fraud.
I reported that just now.
It was a road game. That was in Boston.
I reported that Spike Lee missed game 1 for the gala.
He went to Detroit.
I feel like Spike's got a hard time traveling.
No, I'm just saying. If he's a #1 fan in New York.
Do you think they
doesn't
had the
mean
game on?
Road. I mean, Timothée Chalamet reportedly missed the Met Gala to watch the Knicks game.
Wow.
Real fan.
But do you think that they have the game on, like at the wet bar?
I think that if you wanted to watch the game there, you could watch the game there.
He's holding his phone.
It's
got to
be wild.
I mean, let's be real. Once you get inside, I
Yeah.
imagine it's just like an empty banquet hall, right?
What goes
Like,
on there? Is
nothing.
it like a show?
I think that the celebrities just plug themselves back into the wall, they recharge, and then they go home. Like, I don't think there's anything going on there.
You guys, because this part is amazing to me. You do realize that if Jay Williams is on television saying Jalen Brunson is the best Knick of all time, and we can argue it, but it gets forgetful of Patrick Ewing. But whatever, we can have the discussion if you want to. I imagine Amin would have some opinions there. But that feeling last night for the New York Knicks, a team that has not closed out a series in the playoffs at home since 1999, I could set out without being prisoner of the moment that's the best Knicks game I've seen and the best the Knicks fan base has felt in a quarter of a century. Last night, winning in overtime.
That's not saying much. Have you looked at their last quarter century?
I'm just saying he's sitting here hating the Knicks, and it's an old brand he's hating. It's not like he's rooting. What's happening with Zaslow and Mike, I imagine a lot of people are saying, looking at the Celtics, I can't root for that. I just can't root for that. And he's over here saying to you, I can't root for what I remember of Spike Lee being on the Knicks sideline back when Knicks Heat mattered.
No, but here's what I'm going to say to what you just said. When the Celtics are missing a playoff record 45 three-point shots, you really want to give the Knicks a lot of credit for playing a great game? I say the Celtics choked to an epic degree. The Knicks were the most fortunate team in America to win that game.
They did choke. It was a super meltdown, all right? But still, I mean, they're down by 20 on the road, second half. It's a pretty impressive comeback.
Dan, I think I can explain Greg's position here. Let's say you have a house, and you find out that the house has a termite infestation, right? Oh, my God, these termites. Get the exterminators, the termites won't go away. What do we do? Would you rather hear that the termites are still there, or would you rather hear, good news, the termites are out, bad news, you now have rats? Because that's what would happen if the Knicks start getting good. Right now, the Celtics have been good. It's not a new thing. They've been good for a few years now. You live with it. It's termites. Okay, that's it. You tell me now I have rats? Like, oh, come on. Like, can we keep it to one pest at a time?
I can't get that fan base much louder. Like, I can't enjoy the Knicks fan base success because I've seen how loud it is and how desperate it is to be good again. These celebrities, that the Ben Stillers and the Hank Azarias and the Tracy Morgans of the world, like, they feel they haven't had that basketball feeling in 25 years in that town. And most of them are old enough to remember that, no, Patrick Ewing is the best Knick of all time.
Well, no. Well, whoa. Whose laptop was that?
Was that Cody's?
It ain't me.
Whoa,
I
that's
had
Cody.
check
I'm
your
pretty sure
cables.
that was Cody.
Here's my look at my volume. Okay.
It's not a volume thing. It's a charging cable thing.
Whoa.
Who did charging cable?
But
Doesn't
that's
make any noise.
That's an Apple sound. Greg doesn't have an Apple.
I don't
and
know.
Greg's
What I got.
I
got a
I am
Microsoft
now
Surface.
certain that it is Greg Cody's computer.
Okay.
I wouldn't
Troubleshoot
frame
that.
you.
This is
I
what I'm
wouldn't.
talking about. You see, you
louder?
know it's not coming from
This
me.
is a gaslighting.
You know it's not coming from me.
Is the sound, gaslight means the sound?
No, it's you know something to be true, and someone tells you to your face that what you believe is not true. It's a
Right.
proper gaslighting.
Yeah.
This is so unprofessional.
What does that have to do with gas or light?
It's like how you start a fire, like gaslighting.
We didn't.
But then you actually started a fire. You're telling me
Well,
that
we didn't
there's
start
no
the
fire.
It was always burning since the world's been turning.
Yeah. Exactly. Well put.
Oh, Greg loved being. Hey, hello, Dolly.
Dolly, da, da, da.
I love that last night. Yesterday, he just singing that song my entire life. Hello, Dolly.
If you can, for just a second, I did. We made a lot of fun of Greg Cody yesterday. However,
As usual. I got thick skin.
You come
Clearly,
back every
you have
day.
to.
Clearly.
Yeah, you got to have thick skin in this business.
Thick toenails,
In
too.
this business.
Stand on it.
You keep coming, Greg. I mean, you Go through traffic and all just to come
I
and
come
be
here,
abused
man.
every
I
day.
do.
Show
Got
videos
skin
of you
like an
falling
alligator.
in bushes. It's insane.
Well, that's uncalled for. That happened a century ago. Playing the old
That's
hits.
Greg Cody.
No,
That's
it
Greg
isn't.
Cody.
I saw you
know it
reach.
is. I know it is. It is. It's got to be.
You hit your computer there.
Vet me to make sure it's not me.
I don't know that you deserve the benefit of the doubt here.
If it's me, I will give you a $100 bill right now. If you can prove that is my computer.
Billy,
making
frame
that
him the
noise.
way you framed me.
I mean, how is he? I think we could easily prove, air quotes, that it's him, and he won't know.
Go ahead.
That's correct.
All right. I'll go in there.
Grab the cord of your thing. Like
go ahead.
Mike go. No, don't touch it. Mike
That
will
is a
go in
good
there.
way to
Hold on,
prove it.
hold
Don't
on.
touch- everyone hands up.
Hold
Everyone
on,
hands up.
hold on.
Zaz, hands up. I don't trust you. Hands
Everyone,
up.
Everyone's hands up. Okay, wait a minute. You guys. So you guys heard officially what the bet is, correct? So hold on. Listen to me carefully on what the terms here, because he's so confident. He never puts down his own money. He's so cheap. He's so cheap. And
I'm the most generous person you know.
okay, so you haven't paid a fine in 2 years. Whatever. We can argue about that later.
Yeah, I
you
don't
have
believe
made
in fines.
you. Hold your
Hands up, hands up.
Hands
guys-
up. Hands up.
Did you touch your cord?
Hands up. Hands
you guys,
up.
Mike is gonna adjust his thing, and we're gonna see if it's his computer.
We think it's the cord.
This is an easy way to tell.
And we'll all find out together whether you owe $100 or not. But before he does this, you are 100% positive that you will not be paying me $100.
No, I won't be because my computer's. Not
Okay, do
guilty.
you have the 100 on you? Because you haven't paid a fine in forever. You saying you're going to pay something means nothing.
I got a wad full of bennies right in my pocket.
There you go.
All right, let's see. Let's see.
Which I
right.
don't really, but.
No. Well, wait a minute. No. So, are you going to be good for the $100?
Which I don't really.
No, Greg.
You got that Venmo?
Greg, are you agreeing contractually right now? We will take it out of your next check. $100 is the bet.
Well, you got to start paying me first.
No checks. We need
When's the
cash.
last time I got a check from Meadowlark?
No jokes.
I'm not making a joke.
Direct deposit.
I got to check with my business manager on that one.
No, hold on, please. And I'm sorry. I know we're belaboring this. And forgive me, Panther fans. Forgive me, Panther fans, for not talking about the Panthers.
You're
gonna
welcome to everyone
Yeah,
else.
they're happy that you're not.
All right, $100 bet. But again, you're going to pay it. Your words mean nothing. I'm sure it's you.
All right, Mike.
This is an AOL email, just for the record.
Of course! Of course!
No.
So obvious! Of course! That's what I'm talking about!
That's impossible.
That's
What
what
you
I'm
just
talking
did.
about!
It's the cord right here. It's loose.
That's what I'm talking about!
How does that make that noise?
It's your laptop.
My volume is off, though.
It's not. It has nothing to do with the volume. It makes that noise even if your laptop is on mute. They do that so you know that your device is charging.
That's crazy.
Yeah, why don't you do it?
Where did Dan
See,
go?
it's not making noise.
Oh, there you go.
Wow. Wow.
No.
Greg.
No, somebody else is doing that in there.
Greg.
No, now this is gaslighting.
What?
How can they possibly do it in there?
Hold
What's
on.
happening
All right,
in
let
here?
me do it one
So
more time.
gaslighting.
Very unprofessional.
I didn't touch it.
Damn it.
And you saw that I didn't touch it. You saw
sometimes-
that I didn't touch
He got
it.
our ass. He pretended to do it. He got.
That was very sneaky.
Yes.
Very sneaky.
I think Christopher's out of the will now, right?
Yeah, I'm probably out of the will.
Wow, yeah. Yeah, it's all going to the younger son, Michael, YSM.
Zaz, so where are we with the Panthers? I feel like consensus in my Panther group chats, there's no panic.
Well, I'm in one of your chats.
Oh, that's true. You're in that one. In the main Panther chat that I'm in, it seems like the third period made Panther fans feel at ease with this is going to be a long series. We're fine.
When you know what? When they were down 4-1, that was not the Panthers that I've seen most of the season and through
We were
last year's
terrible.
playoffs. They were awful. They were disjointed. Bob let in a couple of bad goals. The Panthers I saw come back from 4-1 down and make it a game. That was the Panthers I know. If I'm a Panthers fan, I'm not the least bit worried. I think they're going to win Wednesday night. Then they got 2 at home. No panic whatsoever.
Wow.
I think if you were to ask Panther fans today how they feel going forward the remainder of the series, I think there's still a ton of confidence. I think if you ask the Maple Leaf fan how they feel right now, they're certainly very happy that they're up 1-0, but I think they're also like, yeah, that we might have gotten a little bit lucky here with what took place. I thought the Panthers were totally going to come back in the third period and win that game. They were so, like, the Panther fan looks at that and knows they didn't play well. Does the Maple Leaf fan say, wow, we didn't play well? I don't think so. I think the Maple Leaf fan is really pleased that they got out of there with that win. Everybody knows Seth Jones, my dog. He played like a spaz last night, all right? Kulikov, very bad. Mikula, very bad.
Mikula.
Barkov with the turnover, which led to a scoring chance. Barkov taking a penalty. Even in the third period, when the Panthers are rolling and they make it 4-3, they still went and took 2 more penalties after that and gave up another goal off a turnover. So even in their best period, they were still crap, and they were right there at the end. So Dan Zas was going to be enraged with the Panthers. I'm moderately annoyed right now at last night's game.
Also, for context, remember how last year's second round started?
Yeah.
The Panthers had home ice
And that game was
against
at home.
Boston.
Yeah.
They lost.
They lost
Got
6-1.
killed.
They got
Killed.
crushed
Right.
6-1. This is a different scenario because you're just looking to win one and steal home ice advantage. Your fourth line barely plays last night. They just stopped playing AJ Greer's probably for the best. Wouldn't surprise me at all if Mackey comes back. But right now the Leafs fans, they're happy that they won. They kind of feel like they survived one. It also feels like
There's
there's
no
a
way
little,
they feel great.
No, which is why they're trying so hard to get Sam Bennett suspended for.
Yes.
There's no way
It
he's
appears that
suspended.
Stolarz
No way.
and Chris Nowinski, who once joined the show before and charged the Dolphins with murder or manslaughter.
Former WWE superstar.
Yeah, Chris Harvard. He theorized, which actually makes sense, that Stolarz got concussed initially on the shot from Sam Bennett, or was it Sam Reinhart, that hit Stolarz in the mask, knocked his mask off. Because I think Sam Bennett is a victim of his reputation. We know when Sam Bennett is trying to do something, it looked like a fairly innocuous hit. Stolarz's mask came off.
He barely touched him.
I call it a graze.
It looked like a dive initially, but I
Wait a
think.
minute.
Yeah, and also if there was something behind it, Toronto, those Maple Leafs players would have went at Bennett in that moment. It was that innocuous in the moment, but everyone now that is supporting the Toronto Maple Leafs is trying to suspend Sam Bennett for something that I don't think actually caused the concussion.
The guy was vomiting on the bench. Something caused the concussion.
Clearly concussed,
Right.
but I don't think it was that interaction with Bennett, the one that everyone's pointing to, that they allege is a dirty hit because they don't want to go back and say, hey, this came out of the run of play. This was a shot
that's
off his
it right
face
there.
mask.
That's the main thing why I don't believe Bennett's getting suspended. Number one, it's if you look at that play, just isolate that one play. That is not a play that gets you suspended in the Stanley Cup playoffs. That's number one.
It wasn't even a play that got Toronto to defend their goalie.
Yeah, and again, no penalty. All right, now I understand Ekblad got banned 2 games,
that
no
doesn't
penalty. But this, there's nothing there. The second part is, if they were to suspend Bennett, they are acknowledging that they allowed a player who was concussed earlier in the game to remain in the game for another 9 minutes of real time. That's what they would be acknowledging if they're going to suspend Sam Bennett there. There's no... I'll go as
Really?
far as
You
to
don't
say
think
I don't think they're going to even have a hearing.
Well, you don't think that they'll allege that the concussion did... If they suspend Sam Bennett, then they're going to say that the concussion came from that fairly innocuous hit in the crease, a hit so innocuous that none of his Maple Leafs
So they're
teammates
just
came
going
to
to
back him
ignore
up.
the puck to the head.
Right.
That
We'll
matters.
know about it, but they'll just kind of assume they have public support on
I'd be
this.
stunned. I'd be stunned.
Okay, I predict that Sam Bennett will be suspended.
Do you agree though?
But for what?
Yeah, I do, because it's an elbow to the head.
But
It's
he
not
tucked
a
it
goal.
in, but
I
he
don't
didn't even give him one of those.
I think it's enough for a suspension.
I think you call it a push at max.
Yes.
A graze.
Okay, I
there's
don't.
no punch or elbow thrown there.
I won't be pleased to be the one right here, but I think he will be suspended and probably should be. But the Panthers are so good they can overcome Sam Bennett missing a game. If their penalty kill stays
All right,
the way
hold
they
on.
dominated
Can I
Tampa,
can I
they were
stop
5
all
for
of you?
5 last night.
Can I just stop all of you just for a second? Because I will concede to you that what I'm hearing in this room feels like a whole lot of Panther fans perfectly fine with what happened with the Florida Panthers last night. Zaz going as far as to say that the Toronto fan doesn't feel that good about that because of how it played out. And I would say The reason that I fear teams like Winnipeg and Toronto and Washington, and I fear everyone, it seems like, is because hockey is going to hockey. And I know the Panthers have the best team, but it happens. And then you're down 1-0 to a Toronto team that is good enough, could have gotten knocked out in the first round, but that's a scary team. And so I don't feel good about that. And Sam Bennett possibly being suspended because, as you guys have the sports argument, they've got a concussion problem throughout sports, and whether it was or wasn't what caused the concussion, Sam Bennett's reputation is that's the dirtiest, and the Panthers are the dirtiest. And what happens when Sam Bennett does that is the entirety of the internet hockey world that isn't a Florida Panther says, those people down there in Florida are kind of scumbags, and you guys are like, but they're ours.
I'll wear it.
But they're ours.
I don't care. I'll wear it.
The other thing I would factor in is that you want to protect the goalie. Okay, you protect that goalie. That's his crease. And when you have somebody throwing an elbow at a goalie,
Throwing an elbow.
I don't agree with that.
Have you watched the replay?
Yeah, I have watched the replay.
They collided, but like, I understand what you're saying. You don't want that happening to your goalie. You know who doesn't want that happening to their goalie the most? The Toronto Maple Leafs that are on the ice.
Right.
Nobody came to his defense because it was that innocuous. If you actually watch the play, Bennett actually tucks his elbow in, trying to avoid Stolarz. The concussion, I would bet my life, didn't happen on that play. It happened when he took a puck to the face that knocked his helmet off.
Okay.
And he probably really felt it off of a fairly innocuous hit that got him loopy. He was probably feeling loopy well before that.
Okay, I'm not predicting a suspension or saying what I'm saying as a fan because I'm not a fan. I'm neutral here, and I wonder.
Three journalists here in this room,
and I wonder how the rest of you would feel if a Maple Leafs elbow had given.
If I saw the replay and there was no extension of the elbow, it's just like
If Bobrovsky's vomiting on the bench and he's perhaps out of the next game, you want someone suspended.
I'd be calling for the death penalty.
I understand what you're saying, but I also think this is where our Panthers fandom actually helps contextualize this because we were paying attention to what happened earlier in the game. And we're pretty aware that that was a wicked shot that he took off his face mask.
Right.
And we also know that when Sam Bennett means to hit somebody dirty, he commits to hitting somebody dirty. The elbow doesn't go in. The elbow goes out. And I just think if he got suspended, it would be really unfortunate and it would be the league bending to pressure because he has this reputation.
I don't even think there's going to be a hearing. I think it's a waste of everybody's time.
Straight to the gallows.
Of course we're talking about this because it's Toronto and they're maniacs up there in Canada, and it's Sam Bennett who has the reputation. I don't even think there's going to be a hearing. Stop wasting my time.
Emily Kaplan has tweeted this morning, nothing confirmed yet, but I don't believe Sam Bennett will receive supplement discipline for his contact with Stolarz.
He's not. I'm reporting it. Put it on the crawl on ESPN. I'm reporting.
Well,
no discipline.
This is why he's a rising star at ESPN.
Put it on the crawl.
He just said to everybody, there will be no hearing. He's like, suspend him, and he runs with the torches. The internet says Sam Bennett's dirty, and Zaslo's Judge Zaz, who doesn't want Judge Zaz of sports?
I am a judge.
That Judge Zaz saying to you the thing you always want to hear about around the best sporting events, hearings. Zaslow says there will not. He is saying there will not even. Never mind.
Don't waste my time.
Never mind an investigation. No, there will be no investigation. There's video out there. Everybody's screaming.
What did you investigate? I saw it.
Not even a hearing.
Nope. Stop wasting my time.
Who's going to be right between Zaslow doesn't get a hearing, stop wasting my time, and Greg Cody, virtue signaler, it looked like an elbow, and we don't like concussion, suspend him.
Can it be as simple as if the Panthers come back and win last night, he probably gets suspended, and since they lost, like, to balance things out? I thought that's what happened with Tampa.
But that's the other thing about what happened last night. Oh, you guys got all cocky because here comes Florida doing what they do. Yes, on the momentum of a dirty hit.
I mean, what happened to Tampa was obvious. Aaron Ekblad went to kill Brendan Hagel because Hagel was super dirty earlier in the series.
Right, they missed the call. It was still so on purpose.
Not some two-faced hypocrite. Like we were saying, Ekblad should be suspended for that. That was with intention, and you're damn right it was intentional because he was defending his guy.
Yep.
This was not a concussion that was delivered by Sam Bennett in that moment. It just wasn't.
Yeah, you can't say that it's all Panther, fans here who are defending Sam Bennett in that spot when we're all readily admitting, yeah, I get Ekblad being suspended. Makes sense. But here in this spot, it's like, No, that's not a suspension.
Okay, but I would ask you guys to consider if you realize that you're in the most magical place that there is in sports and the closest thing we've had in this city to this than when the Miami Heat were dominating this town for 15 years. Your team, a relevant one, your team, a champion, is despised by and respected and despised by people in hockey because the way they play in the playoffs is so physical that when Sam Bennett is dirty, no one is surprised and can see optical illusions, and no one would be surprised because, yeah, the Panthers are dirty and they are dirty, and what are you going to do about it? Are you going to suspend them? Because we'll take the suspension on Ekblad and the hit. Yep. You know why? Because we wanted him to do that. Because this sport, that cost a gold, did it not? What happened with Ekblad, everyone supported, even though they acknowledged what Ekblad did was whatever, morally right in defense of the Panthers, but also it was costly. The penalty for it was costly.
They scored 2 goals in 11 seconds after Ekblad delivered that hit. And then Ekblad, I believe, scored later on.
He ended up, not only did they not call a penalty on Ekblad on that play,
but he
went on to have maybe the most impactful game he's ever had as a Panther, taking that guy out for our captain and then scoring the game-tying goal.
We've probably spent too much time on Sam Bennett because I just flatly don't think anything nefarious happened there.
Nothing's happening.
But for me, the headline is Florida played very poorly. They were sloppy. They were sliding into their own guys. There were bad giveaways in their own zone. The fourth-line wingers don't appear to be a fit for this specific series.
Seth Jones was a spaz last
Barkov was bad. Seth Jones was a mixed experience. Verhaeghe has been frustrating people. I actually didn't think that he was that bad. Brad Marchand was actually really good on the night.
That's my dog. That's my rat right there.
So I think Florida's well positioned, and also the elephant in the room today that we should be discussing is the fact that heavy is that crest for Toronto. They could be up 2-0. They could be up 3-0. The sphincters in that collective province of Ontario are going to be this tight because the Toronto Maple Leafs just struggle when they're on the front foot.
I'd like some help from Greg Cote on this because I don't know where the line is on Mike Ryan's appraisal that Seth Jones is, I think, a mixed experience or a mixed bag experience. I missed it, but as you were saying it, Zaz was calling him a spaz. So what is the difference? Like, what is the line? I don't know hockey well enough to know the difference between a mixed experience and a spaz because when I saw Seth Jones play, I just thought he was kind of average.
I mean, he scored a goal and he broke up a breakaway. Like, he had very good moments in that game.
A spaz is what he called it.
He also had some weird turnovers. Like, he had some weird passes.
He's spinning, he's doing like spinneroonies and losing the puck. That's a spaz.
Well, back in my day, the word spaz was derogatory. I think.
You think I'm saying it as a compliment right now?
Apparently not. I think Seth Jones has been a great addition. Naturally, Brad Marchand gets all the attention as far as their late season addition. Seth Jones has been great. He's a reason that they're doing what they're doing right now. He's been great.
This episode is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Greg Cote, are you ready to go? Your headset is not on.
I am ready.
What are you doing? You seem very busy here. We've got
researching.
You were researching?
Yeah.
Did you find out things that will be useful on the program?
I am preparing, yes.
Okay.
We do have an update.
Due diligence.
We do have an update. Multiple NHL insiders, including lead NHL insider for The Athletic, are reporting that it's not expected that Sam Bennett faces any discipline.
Oh, wow. I mean, it's not like I just said it.
Yeah, Zaz reported it earlier.
That's breaking news.
Did you report it?
Yeah.
That's breaking news.
Yeah. I'm a journalist, and I also let you guys know I'm a judge. And I told you that.
Okay, can I make one thing clear? These are not reports saying he will not be suspended.
I will read you the reports.
Okay.
It's Emily Kaplan, very reputable.
That was not a report either, what she said.
Hold on. Just, Mike, I need to please, if you don't mind, okay, because the tension between Cody and Zaslow is real, and where they identify as journalists, it's real. Greg Cote is going to be proven to be instantaneously wrong in his opinion that Sam Bennett will be suspended, and therefore he's going to ask follow-up questions so he can be less wrong.
So the first report from Emily Kaplan, she goes out of her way to say nothing confirmed yet. So it feels more like an opinion, but I don't believe Sam Bennett will receive supplemental discipline for his contact with Anthony Stolarz in Game 1.
Okay, instead of telling us you don't believe, how about telling us when you know?
Okay,
However-
why do we keep skipping over things that are believed and things that are opinions when I reported? It was
Based
like
on
30
what,
minutes ago.
Judge? Your Honor.
Hold
Based
on a
what?
second.
His
Hold on a
eyes.
second. If you reported something, do you think I would have the gall to say based on what, or I would trust your
Yeah.
sources as a journalist? No, that's very insulting. I reported like 25 minutes ago that Sam Bennett will not be suspended, and I also reported there won't even be a hearing. So what are we still doing?
You reported that based on what, though?
Hold on a second. I just told you I would never tell you my sources.
Okay.
I would
You
never.
didn't even quote a source.
Journalism.
He broke that news, Greg. That happened on the show when you were trying to figure out what the sound was on your computer.
Yeah.
That's my
You've already
report.
that's already been exposed as a fraud.
Greg, when it was exposed on a fraud, I just lit up the video department. Just went in there in a rage because I'm like, please tell me you got the spit take in the kitchen that I did. And all they got was that I was cleaning up the coffee.
Oh, boy.
Because when they got you on that prank, an excellent prank, I did a spit take that spit coffee cartoonishly all over the kitchen. I made a substantive mess.
Did you clean it up?
Yeah, that's what they got. They got the picture of me cleaning it up.
This one's a little bit stronger from Chris Johnston of The Athletic. Sam Bennett is not expected to face any supplemental discipline for his hit on Anthony Stolarz during last night's game, per sources.
Okay, not expected.
Is that a report?
That
Not
is, he
expected.
cites
He's
sources.
reporting on his sources.
Oh, okay. The sources are telling him we don't expect him to be suspended.
Which is
not the
something.
same
What
as
if they
will not be suspended?
What if they expected it, though?
Again, though that report right there, that's a journalist, just like me, all right? That guy is saying not expected.
Right.
I've already told you it's not happening.
Man, information people are valuable. Information is currency. You see what's happening with Adam Schefter. What? You laugh. Zaslow's to news first. It's why he's a rising star at ESPN. And I'd argue, a rising star in the journalism business because he breaks news like that. 30 minutes ago, he told you.
I don't know why you're laughing. I mean, that feels insulting. I don't know what you're doing there.
I'll give you an example. It was widely reported that the championship race was coming back to Homestead for the NASCAR Cup Series, but it was only until this morning, 8 minutes ago, where it's been finally confirmed by ESPN. That's not good enough for me. We're gonna have Ryan Blaney on in a couple minutes. I'm gonna ask him directly to further confirm what's been talked about openly.
Sure.
As a journalist, when we find out later in the day, like the NHL announces there will be, because that the NHL announces there will be no disciplinary action, not even a hearing for Sam Bennett. It's also going to say on television on ESPN, as first reported by Jonathan Zaslow on the Dan Le Batard Show.
Okay.
Because as a journalist, you give
you
credit to other journalists.
I will give you that $100 bill I didn't have to give Dan if ESPN reports that you broke that story.
Well, I don't have control of that, but that would be bad journalism if I don't get credit. I don't have control of what other people do, Greg.
ESPN famously doesn't credit people all of the time. They have to give Zaslow credit for it to be a breaking report that you respect.
And by the way the NHL...
Wait, can you answer my question? I know you wanted to make your own point about the
listening.
NHL.
Okay,
But
he didn't make a report.
Yes, sir.
He gave his opinion.
Should I do it again? I'll do it again to
It
clarify.
was a
he made
textbook
a report
report.
there wouldn't
He
even
gave
be
an opinion
there
that
wouldn't
he would
even
not
be
be... Just like I gave an opinion that he would be.
He's
Should we-
gaslighting you.
Should we clarify? Like, I can do it again right now. Just everybody's ears are open. And,
Okay, go ahead. Do it again.
I am reporting. Which is that my camera? I am reporting.
My opinion. I am reporting...
No.
my opinion.
That's
Don't
your
talk
report.
over his report,
That's
man.
your report. My report is that Sam Bennett will not be suspended and won't even have a disciplinary hearing with the NHL because it's a waste of everyone's time. I am reporting that. So when it is confirmed by the league later on today, Zaslow had it first.
He
Props
did.
to
It's
Zaslow.
indisputable. Everyone heard it live. We were
Okay.
first to this.
I'm still
First of
unclear
all-
on gaslighting.
First of all, the way the NHL usually works is that if he's not suspended, they're not going to report he is not being suspended. If he were being suspended, that is something they would
I don't have control
announce
over that.
officially.
We will get back to this, I'm sure, many times over because these two do not think of journalism the same. But I
don't call it a report when I'm just giving my opinion. I didn't report that
That
he
wasn't
would
my
be
opinion.
suspended.
That wasn't my opinion.
I didn't
he
report.
reported it correctly.
Okay,
he got it. He got
it hadn't been announced yet. It's not known yet.
It will be known, and you will
was.
be instantaneously wrong because you didn't believe his report. Like
It wasn't a report.
Let me explain to
It
you
was
the difference
his opinion.
between a report and opinion. Let me explain to you.
Okay,
This is journalism
please.
right
Yeah,
Can you explain
please
what a
do.
gaslight is
It's
first?
journalism right here. My opinion is that he should not be suspended. That's an opinion.
Okay.
I learned that in journalism school, University of Florida. My report is that he will not be suspended, and there won't even be a hearing.
Okay, based on
my sources.
That's where he's got you.
Okay, but in journalism, if you
Go on.
cite a source,
Go on.
even if you don't name him or her,
I would never do that.
right? Of course, because you're a journalist.
I would go to prison before I named the
But
source.
it's still usually it's de rigueur in journalism.
And
that
now you're using words I don't understand.
when you're citing,
He went to Santa Fe.
when
gotta
you're
relax.
citing a source, generally you say a source within the NHL front office, or you say a Panthers source. You cite someone.
I do things differently.
Okay. That's fine. And by the way, I want to make it clear, I have no vested interest in this. I'm fine if Sam Bennett doesn't get suspended. More power to him.
Sounds like this is a house money game for Bennett, right? Like, he just do whatever he wants. He should be suspended. Like, go crazy, right?
You know, if he throws an elbow at the other goalie and he doesn't get suspended, more power to him.
Amin, Ryan Blaney is joining us now. I'm sorry that happened to you, Amin. I'm sorry.
What happened?
I want to hug him. He had a very small window to do something there. I am now officially, and our show is officially friends with Ryan Blaney because we are now into racing. It's been fairly shocking. We've
been into racing for a long time.
We have been?
Race. It was a race joke. You've been
Okay.
into racing for a long time.
Okay, thank you. You think that Ryan Blaney got that, or you think
That was for you.
Okay, thank you. But we're onboarding a guest here. I appreciate you making a private joke about race.
All aboard?
But all aboard is
yeah,
what you just
said onboarding. I'm like, all aboard? Ryan Blaney stepping onto the SS Le Batard.
He really deserves a better intro.
The Codys, ladies and gentlemen, they're sore from dancing this weekend. I've got a heavy-tongued producer. Ryan Blaney, do you ever have a family around you that you've been carrying in your economy that burdens you every day?
Well, thanks for having me, guys. That's a heck of an intro. I appreciate it. Back on the show. Thanks again for having me. No, luckily I have not had a family member who has burdened me too much.
Okay, I go ahead, Zaz.
Do you ever find any of the guys on your team, they talk too much in your ear while you're just trying to concentrate on racing?
You know, I sometimes I feel like I've kind of always been one that prefers silence over too much talking. I like communication when it's helpful, but sometimes it's just talking just to talk. But no, I'm not going to call anybody out. But I think we've all had that to where it's like, what's the point of this conversation going? And are you just saying words just to say them? But luckily, I don't have to deal with that too much.
Hold on. So you're telling me that your communication with your team is such in the panic and the heat of all these moments, and you need silence, that you've never in all of your life led your team by yelling back, "Hey, somebody shut up! Shut up! Somebody's talking too much. Shut up!"
I won't say I don't go about it in that way. I think I just say like less talking. And that's really all, and then it gets resolved.
So the last
You
time
never want to yell at anybody, right? I mean, you're all out of group, and you know, it's just like, all right, less talking, and then we can go on.
The last time we spoke, it was before Homestead, and I asked you, do you think a meteor is going to strike your car? And you said something to the effect of, well, I don't think I'd be that surprised the way that the season's going. You were running a great race at Homestead, and then your car just blew up when you were leading the pack. And since then, your luck has somehow got worse. So, Ryan Blaney, same question. For Kansas this weekend, are you going to get struck by a meteor?
You know what? I think, I was watching the replay from Homestead, and I mean, call me crazy. I feel like a meteor went through our grill and hit the radiator and made the car blow up. So I think you spoke that one into existence. So if you want to say a lightning strike, and if I get struck by lightning, then I think you're the say all end all, and you can pretty much judge the future. But hopefully it gets a little better. It's gotten a little bit better, which is nice. We've been able to actually finish some races, so that's good. So it's a start. Hopefully that continues.
You were really hard on yourself because it does feel like the pendulum's swinging a little bit in your favor. But Texas Motor Speedway, a lot of people are talking about that track, that it's terrible. There were cars just spinning out because they were just driving. and you had single car accidents, and it was just such a random race. You were highly critical of Texas Motor Speedway, saying it's probably the worst track. How do you, when you're going through such a difficult stretch, and there are certain things that are out of your control, and you start going the way, when things start trending a little bit more positive, in your mind, are you kind of thinking, well, what can possibly go wrong now?
I try not to think that way. Like, what can go wrong next? I really try not to be that way. But it always is like in the back of your head, right? Like, all right, what's next? Like we got nothing really can seem to go right, and what's going to happen next? But I try not to be that way. But it's hard not to sometimes. But yeah, Texas, this past weekend that place is tough, man. It's they repaved it, about I think like 2017, and just the surface, with racetracks, like when you repave, the racetrack takes a while to kind of age to where you can race on it competitively, like at the speeds we are to get the track wide. It just is tough to do, and that place just does not age. So it's just kind of a single lane, maybe 2 lanes, and if you step, a foot, you're wrecking, and it's just a hard place to race and pass. I think that's what kind of gets drivers frustrated when there's nowhere to go and move around, and drivers get frustrated by it. The fans, obviously, it's not a good show for the fans to watch. So hopefully they can figure something out for that place to make it a little bit better, because it needs something done to it.
Ryan, if I could get a little more help from you to make this just a little bit newsier, can you just follow me down this path and not think it got you journalism? Has Ryan Blaney ever said, when talking back to his crew, and saying less talking, is it more often than not, less talking, Carl? Like it's one guy, and it's not all of them. It's one guy on your team, and it's always Carl.
Man, you're hung up on this one. Yeah, no, it's not just one guy.
So it's
it
not
can
Carl.
be multiple.
It's unfortunate.
But
it's unfortunate.
I know you're trying to get me to
I
call
just
somebody
thought.
out,
I don't even know if you have a Carl. I'm not trying to get you to get anybody. But when you talk about things happening to your car, do you have a worst ever experience in your car?
I mean, when they catch on fire, it's not fun. That sometimes happens. So that's probably the worst. I mean, we wreck and stuff, and some wrecks are harder than others, but like fire, I think, right, everyone is afraid of it. It's nothing you can really do about it, except for get away from it as soon as you can. And it kind of takes us a while to get out of the car or get stopped. And so that's the worst case scenario is catching on fire. And then just it kind of goes into panic mode. But yeah, that's something we try to avoid.
I know that you, Ryan, are probably very excited about the Netflix series coming out. So when you watch it back, is there any moments that you think back and you're like, man, I wonder if Carl said this about me behind the scenes, and I really want to watch Netflix to see the real story of what went on that day? And like, do you think you're going to catch anyone in anything? Have you been anticipating any moments where you're like, I wonder what really happened there? Let me see if I can catch them in something.
Yeah, I think so. I'm excited for that to come out. It comes out tomorrow, May 7th, and season 2, it's going to be really fun. I've seen little bits of it. I didn't want to watch the whole thing yet before it came out, but yeah, I mean, I know the stuff that I was in, right? I was there for it. I know kind of how all that went, but other guys, like they interview other drivers or things like that. I am curious about, how do they think of a certain situation that they were in? Whether I'm involved in it or not, like I wonder kind of how they thought about that. So I am curious to see from that side, because I don't know what anyone else is thinking, and you never know what's going to come out. But the bits I've seen, it's really, really good. I know people like the first season, and I think this one was even better from the clips I've seen of it. So yeah, they did a good job. I appreciate Netflix for doing that and showing like an inside look of the drivers, the teams, the week-to-week stuff, the highs and the lows of the sport. That's always interesting for people to see. And, you've seen it a lot with other sports, from the quarterback show, receiver, full swing. I think it's you got to give people more and more of like showing a little bit more behind the scenes. And I think this show definitely does that.
I would never. You're an honest man, obviously, a very honest man. You're on the up and up. You would never do anything to skirt the rules in NASCAR. But NASCAR, notoriously, teams try to get around the rules a little bit, right? Which is why you guys have so many different checks on the different cars. And even after you check the car, maybe you go and like, oh, well, let me see if we can tweak this, tweak that. Kind of get around the rules. I wouldn't call you a cheater. You're not. You're an honest man. But those dirty rotten cheaters that you race against, I mean, they're up to something. You think watching the show, you're going to be able to find out maybe some tricks of the trade, maybe some things that they're doing to their cars that you can implement on your cars, or is it not helpful in that way?
You know, at NASCAR, and honestly, motorsports in general is a unique sport from that regard. Like the gray area.
You're all cheaters.
The rule book.
Not you, but
everyone is.
Not
right?
you.
Everyone is. There it is. That's
Except
what I was
you.
looking
Yeah,
for.
not
Everyone
you.
is.
I mean, that's what
everyone
everyone
a cheater.
does.
Everyone's a cheater.
Yeah. If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
That's good journalism, Billy. Good journalism. He said it.
It's
finally.
only cheating if you get caught.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's the thing. And it's different than other sports, right? Like, you know, there's controversy in, you know, other sports, what is like in the rule book or not, or what's in that gray area. Our sport just has a bigger gray area because the cars, there's so many things on them that there's only so many rules, and everyone always tries to manipulate, you know, little things. But I'll tell you, to answer your question on if I would learn something from watching the show on that regard, no. If you're pushing the gray area, there's no cameras around. They're not going to film that. So that stuff gets done in a dark room in the back of race shops, and no one ever knows about it but that team.
Have you ever considered taking steroids?
No, that would not help me at all.
I mean, like, aesthetically, like for appearance.
What do you mean? You'd be
appearance?
Yeah, just for appearance.
Yeah, I would love to break out, and you know.
What do you mean?
I think I think everyone would know something's up, dude. I'm a tiny guy. I walk around like a $140, and if I all of a sudden showed up weighing like 170, 180, just juice to the gills, I think people would know what's up. So no, I would not do that stuff.
But would that be a problem?
It would be a competitive advantage.
But would that be a problem? Like, who cares if they notice that you're looking kind of jacked? Who cares?
I do.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay, you might care.
I don't want to be pumping that stuff in me.
All right. Well, you might, and that might be for health reasons, or you might not care about the look of someone cheating by using steroids. But I would like everyone at ESPN and Fox and everywhere else to grab the sound of Ryan Blaney. We got the gotcha journalism. It was from the journalist Billy Gill that got him to say it. Ryan Blaney, as Miami Homestead comes to town, and he's bringing the whole as this whole thing comes to Miami.
Well, next year for the championship race.
Ryan Blaney.
We need him to confirm those reports, though.
We'll get to that in a second. But
Yeah.
Ryan Blaney, before he does that, has said everyone in his sport is cheating. That's news.
Hey, man, everyone does. Everybody does.
Double
This
down.
is part of it.
What would be
Part
the
of it.
advantage of juicing? And what, if that's not really a competitive advantage, what is considered a competitive performance enhancer in NASCAR other than what you can do to the car? Like, do you have a double shot espresso and then that makes you like too rowdy? Like, how would you actually improve the driver's performance with something foreign?
Yeah, man, that's a good question. Like, I really don't know.
Like
You
Adderall?
know, yeah, maybe, I guess.
You should try that.
But
Yeah.
LASIK?
amphetamines.
Like, would
you know,
LASIK be one?
LASIK, little eye surgery. I mean,
Yeah.
gosh, but that's not like illegal. You know, you could do that.
It could have been one day.
Right? Yeah, it could have been. But no, I really don't know. Like, I mean, getting bigger and stronger. It's like as opposed to like when the steroid thing was big in baseball. It helped those guys do what they need to do at the plate. And that was beneficial for their job. But like being big and strong is not as much of it doesn't really help you any driving a race car. Like, we work on different parts of our body to be efficient in the car. Like, a lot of heat trading and, stamina, stuff like that, controlling heart rate. Like, so being like muscular and big, it wouldn't really help. So I really don't know. Like you said, LASIK might be P1 and maybe my eyes get worse every year. So I might have to jump on that train at some point.
Ryan, we just had the Miami Grand Prix down here. How would you describe the relationship between your sport and F1, and why is NASCAR better?
Yeah, I mean, hey, as a racer, I'm a fan of all types of motorsports. Like, I watch F1, I watch motocross, Indy cars, or sprint cars. Like, I just like racing. And for some reason, like, it's some fans across the country and world, like, they butt heads when it comes to like, oh, this is superior. I hate this other form of racing. It's like, well, to me, if you're a fan of motorsports, you're a fan of motorsports. I mean, I'm biased that I think we put on better races as far as like passing competitive cars each week. F1 is spectacular from the engineering side. You know, the drivers are amazing. I wish F1 was a little bit more competitive on the, you know, you see more passes, you see a little bit different variation of winners. I wish F1 was a little bit different in that regard, but I respect the hell out of it and those guys that do it. But I just think we have a little bit more dynamic as far as the raceability and the excitement of cars passing each other and battles and different winners. I think people like to see that.
I don't like this. I mean, I like you, Ryan. You seem like a nice guy, but I don't like this. We're trying to make you the bad boy of motorsports here, and you're complimenting F1. I mean, it's very easy to take them out. Hey, F1, you drove 57 laps. That's a joke. Like 57 laps, get out of here, F1. Trying to get you on steroids. You don't want to take steroids. You have your foundation that helps people. Like,
Yeah,
what's your
come
deal,
on,
guy?
come on,
like,
Blaney.
come on.
Come on.
Ever heard of the
Come on, give us
Intimidator,
something.
Dale
Come
Earnhardt?
on.
Like, come on. Let's start
Give us
scaring
something.
people.
You can't be those.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not. I can't do it, man.
You cursed. That's a start. We're getting there.
There it is. You know
Here
what?
we go.
Ryan
Yeah.
Blaney.
All right, Ryan. What's your favorite curse word?
Oh man, can I say anything on your show?
Anything
Yeah,
you want.
anything.
Yeah. Well,
Really?
nothing
Oh,
Say
offensive.
your favorite.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's hard to beat.
Yeah, it's a
There
good
we
one.
go.
Really hard
Hell
to
yeah.
beat.
It's a good
And,
one.
Fuck
like,
yeah,
if
Ryan
you
Blaney.
can-
Yeah.
Hall of
There's
Famer.
so many different variations you can use.
What's your
it to,
favorite?
and
What's your favorite? How do you say it?
Hey man, I'm only gonna say it once.
Oh,
Come on now.
All right.
It's
It's
usually
only
Carl.
one time.
Shut the up.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can say shut the F up. Dumb mother effer is probably a pretty good one.
Yeah, this guy
Yeah,
gets
we
it.
like it.
That kind of cuts to the core.
Whoa,
So, yeah.
too far. Too far. Come on, Ryan.
Right.
Scale it back.
Well, you're not the.
Sorry.
You're considered one of the good guys of racing. There are bad boys of racing, and to your point about like performance enhancers, Denny Hamlin basically called Kyle Busch fat and out of shape by saying he's every bit the same driver he was over the last decade, but he's just got to take care of his body. So drivers do think that there's something to it, that if you're in better shape, it does bring better results in the car. I'm sure you take good care of yourself. I imagine you're kind of like-minded in
Yeah,
that
I
Kyle
mean,
Busch is fat.
No. And y'all are trying to get me to call people fat.
No, I'm
and
sorry.
like,
I just
come
want
on
you to
now.
confirm that the championship race is coming to Homestead. Really, that's all I
Well,
want.
yeah,
to
you
confirm.
could just
that's the only thing I
Blaney.
will
If you,
I won't say no. I mean, everyone has their own things. What works for them, So I don't judge anybody, man. Whatever you want to be, whatever makes you happy.
excellent. What makes me happy is that you're coming back to Miami Homestead. Hopefully, we'll get you in studio. Hopefully, we can ride around in your car and you can become a legitimate friend of the show. Can you announce the news that you're bringing your whole party, your whole gang is coming down here again?
Yeah. We're. I'm excited to announce it on y'all's show, and like I said, I appreciate you having me. But yeah, we're moving the championship race. NASCAR is moving championship weekend to Homestead Miami Speedway in 2026 officially. November 6th through the 8th. It was at Miami for a long time. It moved to Phoenix for a handful of years, and now they're bringing it back to Miami. So I know a lot of people are excited about that. I'm very excited about it. It's a great area. We would love to have y'all out for championship weekend. It'd be a hell of a time. And so, yeah, officially it's out there. People have been having rumors, but it's definitely happening. So
All right, so now we're friends with Ryan Blaney, and we're going to party with them at Miami Homestead. It's a big deal that this is coming down here. Ryan, thank you, sir. Good seeing you again. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Best of luck this weekend.
I want to
Thank you.
continue with something that I can feel off our audience, and we've been trying to please our audience for a long time, and there's some tension around whenever it is that we're doing the content that we do every day, and Panthers talk breaks out in a way that's a little too aggressively in the weeds on Panthers, or out of nowhere, after a huge NBA night, just wildly fun NBA night, hey, why are you guys talking to a race car driver? I don't know if this is happening. I can assume it's happening, but I'm going to tell you again and remind you that this is a show that celebrates Miami, and we paused for a moment there before getting to the stuff from the NBA last night that I've been, if I'm being totally honest, avoiding for the following reason. I was about as wrong in my analysis as I could be based on the results in the Clippers-Nuggets series when I said the Clippers are good enough to win the championship. I said it for the second straight year. I said if they're healthy, they're good enough to win the championship. Last year, they were not healthy. This year, they were. That series made me wrong because Jokic took a ridiculous shot, and Aaron Gordon saw what was in my lifetime the first thing I've ever seen, a buzzer-beating dunk just because the MVP of the league throws up a stupid, ridiculous shot that he's made twice before in Anthony Davis, but he airballs it, and Aaron Gordon dunks it. I thought that was as wrong as I could be. That's as embarrassing as it can be. Except if you listen to yesterday's show where my analysis was, Aaron Gordon can only dunk. I just saw OKC lose exactly the way the Clippers would have beaten them, by being a veteran team against a young team and savvy and amazing. And that game was the best, obviously, of the night. The Nuggets are champions. That's the best offensive player I've ever seen. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander can challenge with his free throws, but he's going to have to dethrone that ogre. And no one shuts that down. That does not get shut down. And so, Amin, I ask you, that basketball night, how magical was that for you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, got it. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for getting to basketball about 2 hours into the show. Pretty decent night. Mike just showed me a pretty interesting stat from last night. 2 NBA underdogs of 9+ points won outright on the same day in the playoffs for the first time in the last 25 years last night. So
that's insane.
That is insane.
That is crazy.
Because both the Nuggets and the Knicks were going in heavy underdogs into their series against teams that had been rested and waiting for them. And they pulled it off. And I was actually trying to think about, Dan, what was more improbable. I know watching the Knicks game, especially in the second half, the way the shot selection was going for the Celtics. I said it before the game. I said, I think the Celtics are going to win in 5 because they're going to have that one game where they can't hit a 3 and they will not adjust. I had no idea that it would happen that night, right? Meanwhile, the Nuggets-Thunder game, I was certain it was over. It was at that point just kind of like going through the motions, the semantics. You're going to foul, going to make free throws, foul, make free throws, and then at some point we're just going to dribble it out. And Jokic has this little flurry, and then the Thunder make the mistake of fouling up 3 a little too early.
That was crazy.
But I'll tell you what, I'll give Mark Daigneault a lot of credit because he said, that's on me. The players executed what we do. This is our culture. We like doing that. We probably started a little too early. That one's on me. Which is, by the way, every coach's creed is, hey, man, we have a game plan. I want you to execute the game plan. Now, if we execute the game plan and we lose, that's my fault. I can wear it. But if we don't execute our game plan, that's something completely different.
Can I ask you what would have happened in that spot if Daigneault, if they don't foul up 3 there with 12 seconds left? And for context, Nuggets have no timeouts and Jokic is not in the game.
Yeah.
He's waiting at the scorer's table.
Yeah.
The Nuggets have the ball down by 3, 12 seconds, the clock is ticking. If they decided, no, we don't want to foul here because, the Nuggets without Jokic on the floor are an all-time terrible NBA team, what would they have done there, the Nuggets?
So Daigneault's philosophy is we foul up 3. The part where he said that was on me is that we foul up 3 in the backcourt. Like, that we shouldn't have fouled that early, that far
they
away.
only let like 1 second tick off the clock.
Yeah, 1 second came off the clock. So that's the part where I think he would agree with if he had it back. They still would have fouled up 3. It just wouldn't have happened that early.
Can't let
that far
Jokic back in the game.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. But again, if Chet Holmgren hits free throws, then we're probably not having this conversation right now. It was great. But Dan, there were 3 things last night from that game that I never thought I'd see. If I could I go through them with you? Number 3, an NBA player telling his coach not to review that call. Never thought I'd see that. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander grabs Jokic's arm. The bench doesn't see that part. They call for a review, and Shai's like, no, don't review it, but it's too late. They've already requested it. Number 2, Russell Westbrook making the right play in the clutch. Everyone in America thought he was going head over heels straight to that rim, just going to barrel into it, and instead he looked up and he saw Aaron Gordon in the wing, and he threw it. And I said, what? Shout out to Russell Westbrook. And number one, the number one thing I never thought I'd see in my life came after the game. Ernie Johnson asking a Dan Le Batard question. He asked Jamal Murray a question that took about 2 minutes and 20 seconds to get out. The best thing they did on Inside was they replayed just Jamal Murray waiting for the question to end. And he's just like he's nodding and he's closing his eyes and then he's looking around. And I just thought, wow, Ernie's learning from Dan. How about that? Never thought I'd see it.
That's funny. By the way, should Aaron Gordon get a statue?
Depends. Did they win a title this year?
Not yet.
But if they do.
Not yet.
Not yet.
No?
Okay.
I'm just curious.
I got to tell you, Westbrook making that pass to Gordon at Oklahoma City, the crowd that gave him a standing ovation as he checked in yesterday, seemingly the only fan base that actually loves him, likes him, loves him, for him to pass up attacking the basket for the game winner, instead passing it out to Aaron Gordon, one of the most shocking NBA plays I've ever seen.
I want to ask Amin and pick your brain because you know the history of the game so much. Aaron Gordon, I guess, was a missing piece and is perceived as a surprising missing piece. He's probably not the most surprising active missing piece in the league. I think maybe in terms of all-time history, that actually might be Derek White for Boston, what he did for Boston in that acquisition. In terms of that tier, Aaron Gordon, Derek White, who else in the history of the game have been more surprising championship contributors? I'm guessing you're going to harken back to a time where there wasn't the superstar era and super teams, and there were just role players that were massive for guys.
No, I'll give you two names. One guy is active as well, and one guy from the past. The guy from the past, Derek Fisher, out of a small school, Little Rock, Arkansas. He wasn't heralded. He wasn't like physically gifted. He was short and stout. But he was absolutely a difference maker on, 5 titles in L.A. So Derek Fisher's one. The one who's active is Gary Payton II. Because this is a guy that everyone said, not an NBA player. Like, not just, I don't know if you can win with him. It's like, this guy's not an NBA player. He's a 6'3" guard who can't shoot and really can't handle the ball. He defends very well, but offensively, where do you put him? And the Warriors said, we'll make him our power forward. On offense, and he absolutely played a huge role in that 22 championship team.
Well, I don't know what Mike Ryan is doing this with the tier of Aaron Gordon. Is that fourth best player on a champion? Because the Aaron Gordon,
I think he's the third best player on a champion.
Okay, let's see. Okay, maybe third best player on a champion. When the Lakers won the championship with Lamar Odom as their fourth best player, that's the tier I'm talking about. And so when your third or fourth best player is Aaron Gordon, and Aaron Gordon was the best player in Orlando, when he was, they were a sub-500 Orlando team. No, I mean they
had a couple years where they weren't sub 500. He clearly wasn't good enough to be a number one.
I mean, it was a top 3.
But it was a top 3 pick, as was Lamar Odom, by the way. That's why those guys, I kind of feel like they just landed. They finally found the right place for them. Maybe not as a franchise player, but as someone who's a contributor. Whereas Peyton and Fisher are guys who are like, this is the guy. That's the missing piece.
Well, I guess to whittle it down, what I'm trying to say is like when they acquired Aaron Gordon, very few people were like, oh, that's going to get it done. That's going to put him over the hump. It was met with a lot of skepticism. Like, that's not going to fix it.
Right, but of course, but none of us knew what Jokic was there and none of us did. Nobody did. And now what I'm watching, this is the part I want to untangle with you, because what I'm watching from Denver has at its center something that in my lifetime is an unprecedented thing, who very often makes Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon or players like them a lot better than they actually are to win a championship, because that's the best offensive thing I've ever seen. So how good is Aaron Gordon? Well, probably as good as get a lot of third guys, put him in there. And if Jokic is the one throwing them lobs, my guess is they're going to be as good as Aaron Gordon. A dunk champion, like a specific skill set. How much better? This is one game against OKC, but OKC now has to go through a champion. And what they have to do is go through that guy. Chet Holmgren, you're great. Your defense is great. But Chet Holmgren, you look awfully thin against that guy.
Yeah, but I mean, again, at the same time, I think Oklahoma City's defensive game plan worked for most of the night. Their game plan was, he's going to beat us. He's going to score 40, 50, whatever. He's not going to make everyone else better. He only had, I believe, 2 assists on the night last night. It worked all the way up to like 3 minutes left in the game. Again, Dan, I'm watching that game. There was nothing that indicated Denver's got a run in them and they're making a push.
But take me through the late game situation, okay? Because the legacies that are defined this time of year, a road win from a champion here is exactly how you put a young, great team in a vice grip on how it is you knock OKC out when OKC's been the best team in the sport the entire season. Yeah. And is now going through Jokic is a champion. Take me through the late game situation that makes it so that OKC just lost a game, people are saying, because their coach gave one away, and he's playing against the team that fired its coach and is going after a championship because they're saying, we don't need any coach. That guy was making it around Jokic, and we needed to get the smell of that out of the room.
Well, I mean, I think there's a lot going on. When you want to talk about Denver, David Adelman talked about how everyone kind of stayed together. He said even as we were talking in those huddles and being emotional, it was all about what can we do better, not like, hey, man, you got to do – it wasn't a lot of finger pointing. And I think that happens in part because you lose a czar of a leader in Michael Malone. It becomes more collaborative maybe than it was before. You got to give Coach Adelman credit for fostering that environment. We talk about the Thunder, again – the fouling up three thing played a part. It wasn't the whole part. They gave up some easy baskets. Jokic kicked it up a notch. He went 4 of 6 on a 12-2 run in the last 9 minutes of the game. So he's a great player. You're not going to bottle him up forever. I think what it is the Thunder played an easy opponent in the first round, and now you're playing against a team that can legitimately beat you. And there's a difference there because it comes down to execution on both sides of the ball, and you can't let up your foot off the gas. And they did that at the end. They played perfectly for 44 minutes, and then
it's exactly how a young team loses to a champion.
Well, that's how you go. But thankfully, it's not one and done. There's 6 more games, perhaps.
I think it's a pretty massive error, the fouling up 3 there with Jokic waiting at the sideline.
I'm stunned that
I
am stunned that Amin is sitting here and not crying foul the way the internet is at the mishandling of a late game situation because you're having the perspective of no, the players decided that game.
Yeah, because yes, it was a mistake. Yes, it made things more difficult. It wasn't like Jokic came in and hit 2 threes and that's how they lost the game, right?
They're an historically awful team when Jokic is not on the floor, and the game was on the line.
I get it. I'm not saying that I would have fouled in that situation. I'm saying when he says our culture, our philosophy is we foul up 3. And he says that one's on me that we fouled that early.
But he wasn't saying it's on me that we didn't change our philosophy in that moment, which is what should have happened.
No. I mean, he won 68 games, dude. I think
that's the thing. That's the thing. 68 games just gave away home court.
Yeah, and you win one in Denver, and then all of a sudden you got it back. That's a crazy thing when people say, "Oh, home court." It's like, okay, you lost home court. All you got to do is win one over there, and all of a sudden you got it back.
I know, but that's a worst case scenario for OKC in the second round of the playoffs.
To have to win one at Denver?
No, what I'm just saying is what happened last night. I mean, basketball heads like you look at OKC and say, yep, have all the things you need to beat Boston and win a championship. That team is ready to win a championship. Is it?
Yes.
Okay, because last night those guys have been giving fun interviews all year. They're a young team. It's great to watch them, and they're fun. But now you got to beat that player on a team that doesn't even need a coach because they got that player. And what they did is got rid of the coach so that player would be unbothered by, hey, get that stink out of here. We know who runs this thing.
I just feel like, well, unless you're telling me that Denver's going to win 3 straight games here, like Oklahoma City's not going to win any more games. Like, guys, this is the playoffs. I don't know how to explain this to you. It's not March Madness. Like, teams lose a game 1 at home and then come back and win that series. Now, if they lose game 2, now we can have this, oh my God, young team, what are they in the conversation? They lost a game. I don't feel any more in jeopardy about that than the Celtics should or the Cavs should, having lost their game 1s.
New Yorker writer J. Caspian Kang says LeBron is starting to tweet, LeBron, more and more like Trump. the tweet from the Met Gala, or not from the Met Gala, reads, "Unfortunately, because of my knee injury I sustained at the end of the season, I won't be able to attend the Met Gala in New York tonight, as so many people have been asking and congratulating me on!" Exclamation point. "Hate to miss an historical event!" Exclamation point. "My beautiful, powerful queen will be there holding the castle down as she always has done!" Exclamation point. Prayer emoji, salute emoji, heart emoji, sparkles emoji, sparkles emoji, sparkles emoji.
It's the line of they've asked me to be there and they want me there, but I won't be there.
I think he was like co-chairing or something. So he had, I think, more than just he had, I believe, a role. So that's why they were asking if he was going to be there.
Why are you shaking your head, Zaz?
I like how you put the emphasis on the grammar of "an historic."
A lot of exclamation points.
What's the last three emojis there? What were those?
Sparkles?
What's a sparkle emoji? I don't even know that. Is it just like a sparkler?
No, that's a different. You would surely know the difference between a sparkler and sparkles, yes?
Yeah, I sparkler I've used. Sparkles, I don't know how that would be shown in an emoji. I've never seen it. I've never used it. I'm just curious.
So do you know what sparkles look like?
No, I know what a sparkler looks like. I know what fireworks look like.
Yeah.
I don't know what sparkles are supposed to look like.
They look kind of like stars. I'm not fluent in emoji, so I don't know what they're meant to represent. Sparklers are incredible, aren't they, Greg? Because you can play with them 4th of July, and somehow, even if it little hops off and it gets on your hand, doesn't really hurt. Right.
Bring them back.
Burn you somehow. Yeah, bring them back, Jack, is exactly right.
Oh, see, I see the sparkle emoji right now. It doesn't even look like anything. It looks like the insignia of a car. It looks like an automobile logo or something.
Like a scion.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just useless.
I appreciate, speaking of useless and speaking of bring him back, Jack, I appreciate that somebody that we haven't seen in a long time has reappeared now for Warriors Wolves. I don't know if you guys know this. I don't know if Zaslow or Greg Cody have ever met Dom Kang.
No,
I have not. Boxing promoter, right?
Dom Kang.
Oh, I'm kidding. I'm just a joke.
No, what? Who are you talking about?
Don King, the boxing promoter. It was just like a little sound
right,
like.
No, it's not Don King.
An understandable mistake, my dear friend.
Thank you. There you go.
An understandable mishap. My name is Dom Kang. I'm often confused with the one and only Dom King. We are very different individuals, I promise you that. He says only in America, I'd say strictly in the United States. And I'm here to promulgate the indefatigable pugilistic showdown between the dastardly delicious Draymond Green.
Yes.
And the rudimentary Rudy Gobert.
All right, I need to help. Please, this series is going to be tremendous.
It's a showdown in Minnesota between the Golden State Warriors and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Have you ever seen a man be put in a chokehold in less than 120 seconds? You will in this series. Have you ever seen a man get booed by 20,000 people for something he did 5 years ago? You will in this series. Have you ever seen a man put his head down and dribble and then spin and barrel and only use his left hand? You will in this series and every series that Julius Randle plays in. Strictly in the United States. Strictly in the United States. I love it.
I saw him crawling into the studio before. I didn't know what it was. I only saw the tip of the hair. I thought a dog was in the studio.
I permit you, Mr. Zaslow, for confusing me for some of our rich brothers in the canine industry. But I am here to let everyone know about the conflagration between the magnanimous Anthony Edwards and the incontrovertible
magnanimous, not if you're gonna read the big words, you gotta read them correctly.
The incontrovertible Stephen Curry, strictly in the United States. But the showdown in the middle.
Strictly in the United States is a great ripped-off slogan. But when you say chokehold within 120 seconds, Juju, put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Will Timberwolves, this is what's going to happen, isn't it?
It's transcendental.
Dan Le
Batard?
Will Warriors Timberwolves have a chokehold within 120 seconds.
Oh, I submit to you that fireworks will come raining down from the very heavens of the Target Center. Sparkles, perhaps. If you've seen them. I don't know if you've seen one. Perhaps you haven't.
Sparklers.
They are beautiful.
Are they like sparklers?
And you get Draymond Green, the great pugilist of this era, going up against the hated, the despised, the diabolical Rudy Gobert. Strictly in the United States. Where else can you see a Frenchman and someone from Flint, Michigan say, it ends tonight?
Why is he diabolical?
That's what the chat GPT said I should use.
But I can't tell you how funny Strictly in America is as a
United States.
Oh, I'm
United
sorry.
States.
I got your slogan wrong. Dom Kang, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Dom
It's
Kang.
been a while. I believe the last time I was here was we were looking for a rematch between Nikola Jokic and Markieff Morris. It didn't quite happen because I don't think Markieff got in that game. But I told everyone, be on the lookout because there will be a rematch soon, and soon there will be. And it did happen in the NBA Finals, but I was not allowed to promote. And that's, you know what? I can't be mad at that. I can't lose my temper because some people just don't have the foresight to know when a good thing is staring you in the eye. But I tell you now, Wolves and Warriors. You know why they love that series, Mr. Le Batard?
Well, I thought we said goodbye to you. I thought that was going to be goodbye to Don Kang.
They both start with the letter W. Yeah. And someone's got to win, and it's going to be Dom Kang exclusively in the Stars and Stripes.
What? Oh, wait. What do you mean? What? That's a totally...
Exclusively here.
What Zaslow said moments ago about Russell Westbrook, I do believe that that's a lovely moment for someone who I thought you accentuating the part of that guy going back to that fan base and that fan base still loving him while choosing whether or not it's going to love this team the way it loves what he brought them as the triple-double guy. Russell Westbrook must feel nationally and internationally like everyone thinks he stinks except for that place.
Do you think he acknowledges that people think he stinks? Yeah.
Well, don't you think the last 5 years of Russell Westbrook's career have been that he's gone from triple-double guy, we love him, he stayed at OKC, he stayed with the small city, and Kevin Durant ruined his legacy by bouncing around, and James Harden ruined the game by shooting a bunch of threes, but Westbrook stayed in his town until the very end, and then he went back last night, and to me, can you even write a feel-good story around Russell Westbrook given how prickly he is and given how everyone else outside of OKC feels about Westbrook? All of us acknowledge he's a great player. All of us acknowledge some form of that's the most fast-twitch muscle fiber I've ever seen on an athlete. That's one of the greatest athletes you'll ever see, and that game will probably not age well because he doesn't shoot threes, but he's going to go to the rim, he's going to be stubborn, he's going to be defiant to the very end. He doesn't want to go to the bench like Carmelo Anthony at the end or all of these great stars, and he knows now that most people are thinking he can't help make a champion better. He can only make the Nuggets worse. But holy what a story he got last night. And it's just by simply passing to Aaron Gordon, who I, again, said only dunks.
It was probably one of the greatest moments of or greatest nights of his career, right? Like, Harden goes back there. They don't cheer for him. Durant goes back there. They definitely don't cheer for him. They're giving standing ovations to Westbrook, and he was right in the thick of the biggest moment of the game, and he makes the right play when no one else likes him to beat that team. It was probably one of the great moments of his career.
I mean, also, let's not reduce it just to that play. He played great all night long. He was one of their best players, as he was one of their best players during Game 7. He's had a great playoffs. And it's like, this is the thing I think a lot of star players go through, right? Where there's a transition period where, like, I'm no longer a star player, but I still haven't accepted it. And then you accept, oh, you know what? I can still be a contributor playing meaningful basketball if I accept this smaller role. And when that happens, there's great fulfillment that comes out of it. And I think Russell Westbrook has found that in Denver. He's been an amazing contributor for them. And the one thing I think, especially when you see how Harden went out in Game 7, the one thing you know about Westbrook, and a lot of times people hold it as a negative, he's going to play his ass off. He's going to try. The effort will be there. The intention's going to be there. Now, sometimes the decision-making is not there. We hold our breath, we groan, we do all those things. But you know he's going to show up in a way that Harden time and time again has shown he doesn't quite show up in those moments. The other thing I want to say about Russell Westbrook is he is, in a way, a victim of the overanalysis of the social media age. In that Russell Westbrook was a star player, great player, right? Everyone applauded him. Did he have some bad moments? Sure. But then you get people who are analyzing him and say, hey, yeah, he's a great player, but there's these things that he does that aren't so great, right? And then what ends up happening is people start echoing it, and somewhere along the way we convince ourselves that he's all about those things that are his flaws and none of the good things he brings to the table. And we do it time and time again with player after player after player, and then they have to go somewhere else and, subjugate their role or make themselves smaller. And all of a sudden we praise them because we already kicked so much dirt on them that it's already over. So I think Russell Westbrook is a great example of that.
I think it's funny that he's getting so much credit for making that pass at the end of the game. Now, granted, he's never been known as a selfless player. He's not who you think of, but he's a great passer. He led the league in assists 3 times.
Look, he's been a great player for a long time. Before we bring on Sam Morril, that was absolutely dead-on analysis from Amin. There might not be a player in the NBA who would get more eviscerated by the advanced metrics of this is an inefficient player when Russell Westbrook leads the league and bleep you, I'll dunk on you, get your math out of here. I'll turn the ball over, I'll take a bunch of shots, and I'll be fearless and scary, and I'll do dumb. I'm not scared of anybody, and your metrics don't matter to me. And it just saved the season against a Clippers team I thought was good enough to win the championship. And last night it had the best play when he went back home as an inefficient player. Sam Morril with us now, and he's our Knicks correspondent, but he also loves all basketball, really dislikes Draymond Green, really dislikes Stephen A. Smith, really dislikes morning television. And so he joins us now here very early from California. Are you going to, or are you coming back from ruining a local television event because you're doing the funniest thing right now? You are doing active promotion on live television where you're trying to ruin morning television.
I'm on my way to ruin one, Dan. Thanks for asking. Yeah.
Live, or have they gotten on to your tricks now and they only they'll tape you and then run you out of the studio? You're headed actively right now into bothering people at work on a local television station in Los Angeles?
I'm not. By this point, they know the scam. If they're agreeing, they know what they signed up for. And now the problem is they're disappointed if I don't go too far. They're like, oh, that's it. You brought on your friend as a gimp. That's all he did. I was like, I don't know how much further I can go. Maybe Gary will whip it out on this one. Who knows?
Okay, this is not where the limits of comedy are, Sam. You have to do better. What do you mean I don't know how far this goes? It goes right over the edge. Yes, well beyond a gimp. Do your job.
We have something. We'll see if it works. We got something planned for today.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it. I wanted to talk about what I'm describing as the best Knicks feeling there's been in 25 years today.
That was a damn good game, dude. That was awesome. Bridges, that guy just comes through at the end. For 3.5 quarters, we're like, what the hell is this guy doing? I know he played great defense, but offensively, you expect something from him, and then just such a clutch play. Brunson, he's going to be clutch. OG playing out of his mind. I mean, this is pretty damn fun.
Sam, Bridges made corner 3, and then the big stop on Jaylen Brown at the end. Worth the 5 picks now?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said after the made 3 in the corner and then the stop on Jaylen Brown, is he worth the 5 picks now?
I don't look. If we win a championship, of course he's worth 5 picks. So I don't know. Five first is insane. I've said it's insane, but the guy, Le Batard's been saying, the third guy offensively is a tough guy to find. If he wins you games, then he's worth the picks. Yes.
You say that, and that's a giant if, and I'm going to say, and I don't mean to smoke you out on this one, I feel it's a bit cowardly because I think Knicks fans secretly hate Bridges and are waiting for him to ruin their season.
You're just trying to start right now. This is what happens. Your Heat have fallen down the toilet, and all you want to do is ruin a good thing that we have right now.
No, I'm just saying that you're ready to distrust this team because it loses at home and you don't trust Bridges. You don't trust him. You trust Brunson. You want to trust Karl Anthony Towns. You don't trust Bridges.
Does this Knicks team have some sadomasochistic tendencies? Like, are we a sub in the bedroom as a team? Yeah. We want to be told, like, screw you. We want to be told you're a nasty little worm. And that's when we go off on the road. That's where we thrive. So at home, I don't know what's going on. Like, part of me worries, like, is it that the diehard psycho fans have been priced out? Is it that this team responds to hatred? Maybe that's what it is. Brunson loves the booze.
Sam, speaking of Brunson, how amazing is it to have a guy who not only is great at the end of the game, but empirically the best at the end of the game?
The best.
In the NBA.
The best by a lot. And that's not close.
I was texting my brother yesterday, like, this doesn't feel real. We're not used to having a guy this cool. I mean, even the shot he missed, we weren't even, I wasn't upset because we're not there without Brunson. So you can't be mad when he misses a shot like that. You know, how many times does he make it? And the reason we're even in the game to begin with is because he hit those 3 threes in, what, a 5-minute span with, you know, it's crazy that Al Horford is still this good at 57 years old. That guy's ridiculous. So, you know, it's crazy. Pardon me for looking around. I'm in downtown Seattle, and it's pretty sketchy right now. Jesus Christ. I mean, these people are like vultures. This is crazy. And I'm coming from this is dicey. All right. Sorry.
Well, wait a minute. I don't want you to get to the local television station so that you can ruin it. Do you have to start running? Or
no,
you okay?
They walked by. It was 2 people circling me. It's like West Side Story, but they're on a lot of fentanyl. I don't know what's going on here.
Sam, is Brunson the best player in the series?
As a Knicks fan, we feel that way.
No.
As a normal person.
No. But hold on. Is Brunson
as a normal? Yeah, I think he is. I think Tatum's incredible. Tatum's a great player, but I think Brunson's better. I'd rather have Jalen Brunson. I think he's that clutch. I think you believe that he's going to hit the big shots. He's proven it again and again. Yeah, I'm taking Brunson every time.
But how do you feel about Jay Williams? And you know your Knicks history. Jay Williams saying after the shot against Detroit, and I don't know where that ranks for you in terms of coolest moments, him hitting the 3 on the road, but the way he hit that shot and you knowing that it was going to go in because of who it is that was taking it, is Jalen Brunson a better New York Knick than Patrick Ewing and the best New York Knick of all time?
That's a question.
Here's the thing. Why do we have to do this? Why can't we just have nice things? Why do we have to be like, this was better than this? Like, Ewing was incredible, dude. I love Patrick Ewing. The reason I love basketball is because of that starting 5. Ewing, Oak, Mace, Starks, Harper. I know Mace was off the bench, but in my mind, he's playing the 5 over Charles Smith. And I don't know why we always have to do this. Ewing was an incredible defensive player. They're such different players, Ewing and Brunson. Brunson down the stretch, there's no one I want taking the shot more. And it's insane because he's so damn small. I mean, the fact that they had Thompson on him in the Detroit series, they had a giant on him, and he slayed a giant. And now it's a very different type of defense. You know, White and Holiday are incredible defenders, but Brunson is an anyone slayer. He'll f you up. It doesn't matter who you are. He's Jalen Brunson. He's gonna hit the shot. So, yeah, every time I'm taking him over Tatum, and that's with much respect to Tatum. He's a great player, great two-way player, but Brunson is that clutch. You take Brunson every time.
Sam, I wholeheartedly agree with you. First of all, shout out to your bona fides where you stopped everyone in their tracks before they could stop you. Say, Mace came off the music. I know Charles Smith was the other starter. So shout out to you for there. But also, I agree with you. Comparison is the thief of joy. Having said that, rank these for me. Jalen Brunson game winner against Detroit. Allen Houston against the Miami Heat. LJ versus the Pacers.
Ooh, those are 3 good ones. Those are 3 good ones.
They're all incredible. I honestly have to go with LJ because a 4-point play is insane. and Larry Johnson doing it on the Pacers. I mean, you remember that moment. LJ was so fired up that they had to grab him and be like, calm down and hit the free throw. Like, that's how crazy that moment was. A 4-point play is it was rare at that time. I don't know if you're in the 90s. They weren't. I feel like Jamal Crawford started hitting 4-point plays, and before that they weren't really a thing.
He didn't even touch them.
So, yeah, probably not. But you know what? I don't give He hit the shot. It was clutch. It was awesome. And the Pacers. I secretly really want a Knicks-Pacers Eastern Conference Finals, and I want the Knicks to fucking smoke them to get revenge for last season.
Sam, is there any concern at all that Boston missing 45 three-point shots is a large reason why your team barely won in overtime?
Of course I'm concerned. Do you think I'm just taking this and being like, this is how life is going to be from now on? I know who we're playing. I know we're playing one of the best basketball teams of all time. But a little credit to the Knicks perimeter D. Our game plan was to not allow any threes, which is why they got a few straight to the basket shots. The Celtics play a very boring style of basketball. They just chuck threes all day. I'm bored watching them. I don't care for them. I don't like them in Boston. I love the city of Boston. I hate their sports teams. But look, that game plan is to force them to shoot bad three-pointers because you know they're going to shoot them. I know Derek White and Tatum, and I know they're going to hit their threes. I know they're a great three-point shooting team. Yeah, we got away with one, but that was the game plan. So hopefully we can stay on them. A little respect to Bridges and Josh Hart and OG Anunoby for playing insane perimeter D. Same with Deuce when he came in. Deuce had a bad series against Detroit. He came in and hit some big shots. We did what we had to do on the road, and we like playing on the road. So I think our defense was pretty fired up yesterday, too.
Sam, if a racehorse broke its leg, wouldn't it be more humane to give it a wheel than to euthanize it?
So I see where you're going with this, and I don't care for your sarcasm.
What do you mean? No, because we were talking. We were talking about
You think it's rude to give a Knicks fan hope, is what you're saying?
No. To be perfectly honest with you, Sam, we were supposed to have our animal expert on now, and we bumped him for you. But I'm getting these animal questions in, whether we like it or not.
Don't back off.
So
don't explain it to him.
No, because
He's genuinely curious.
Yeah, we were talking about the Kentucky Derby yesterday and all the horses that end up getting euthanized. We were also talking, honestly, because all of the ones running in the Kentucky Derby were descendants of Secretariat. So we were talking about how prevalent incest is in the horse racing community and whether or not there are defects, not defects, but mutations genetically by the fact that all of the horses are related to each other and seemingly they're reproducing with each other. So are they beneficial defects or are they not? This is what we're going to ask, the animal expert.
And he was also asking, so if you have a horse and it breaks a leg, instead of killing it, just put a wheel there.
Yeah, just give it a wheel.
So like a sad walking around handicapped horse, that's what you want to see?
No, I was actually saying if the horse had like one wheel, maybe two wheels if it had, I'd probably bet on that horse as opposed to the horses with four legs.
I feel like, I don't know who's asking me this question right now, but this is like the autistic portion of the show. Okay, Tony, I don't know what the hell is going on. I was fired up with the Knicks. Yeah. You're making me sad thinking about
it's what he does.
Horses
it's
right
what
now.
he does. So I'm sorry. Sam.
Sam, okay.
Horses. You know what, Sam? You know what? Thank you. You're a comedian, so I appreciate you doing that.
Major penalty, 5 minutes, swooning comedy.
If you had two wheels, would you put them front legs or back legs? Are you dragging the wheels or pushing them? I'll go.
Try to be funnier than a comedian. That's always a good idea.
I mean, he hasn't been funny yet, so.
Oh!
Wow.
Dude,
well,
the West Side Story with fentanyl?
Tony, I wish that story had wheels so it would have been derailed so hard. You stink.
Tony, you suck, Tony. Tony, you suck. What an Tony is. Sam, I'm sorry. Sam hasn't been funny. What kind
You think he's gonna steal my joy today? No one's gonna steal my joy. I've been circled by meth heads in downtown Seattle. They can't steal my joy. I'm looking into their eyes and I'm going, I don't care. Whatever I feel is better than what you took. Your first high can't compete with what the Knicks did to Boston yesterday because the Knicks are doing, and they're gonna come back 2-0, baby.
Sam, if you had the choice, would you go to the Met Gala or Knicks road playoff game?
Why would I want to go to the Met Gala? Obviously the Knicks. The Met Gala. You think I want to see someone dressed like a freaking turkey? I don't give a the Met Gala.
There it
the
is.
Met Gala to me just looks like I remember Tina Fey described it as a jerk parade, and ever since I heard that, I was like, yeah, that sounds right. Why would I want to go to that? Knicks all day.
Okay, yes. Why would I rather be dressed like a turkey or be a turkey for 25 years as a Knicks fan? And now you're ruining my joy with that guy.
Don't turn it into that dance. Don't be a joy thief.
Well, just Tony. I feel like Tony is the one that's the joy thief here. I believe that he's insulted. I believe you accused him of autism.
Whoa.
I didn't accuse him. I diagnosed him, Dan. Learn the language, learn the terms.
Last thing before you get out of here, any thoughts on Stephen A. Smith running for president? He said he has no choice to consider it, but to
I think
consider
it's great. I think it's great. We've had a black president. Let's get a black guy in office. It could be progress.
There it is. Okay.
Sure.
That's not a word that we use anymore, Sam.
Oh, I know. I meant it as a positive. I think he seems. I mean, he's the worst, Steve. We all know that. I mean, he's terrible. I love the clip is circulating that he's like, "Go Knicks," and then also, the Villanova does not have one NBA player on that team. We got 3 on the team that smoked one of the best teams ever. So, Stephen A. stinks. But could he be a good presidential candidate? No.
Swerve.
What did you have in the way of thoughts on Draymond Green in this Minnesota series?
Wait, who are they playing? The T-Wolves, right? Okay. Warriors, T-Wolves. Look, my heart is with the T-Wolves because they got Dante and Julius. Once a Knick, always a Knick. Ant is fun as hell. The Warriors. Look, Buddy Hield, that was pretty awesome, that game 7 for that kid. You got to give him his props. I will say I think that's going to be a good series. I'm fired up for that, but yeah, I love the moment he had with Jimmy after the game where he called him Alfred because he's the butler. I like vibes like that after a big win. I was in SF for that game and it conflicted with my show at the Masonic, which annoyed me. Anytime you enter that, my real thing is Knicks and then how many tickets I'm selling on the road. That's what it comes down to. So I was annoyed that the Warriors had a game 7. I'm rooting for the T-Wolves in that series. I'd like to see Dante and Julius balled in round 1. That was good to see.
Now, Sam, are you in any way concerned about the trepidation of Rudy Gobert against the irascible Draymond Green, strictly in the United States?
I'm hoping that something unhinged happens as a fan. I mean, here's what happens. You want to keep stockpiling the evidence that Draymond Green is mentally ill for when he really does something really dangerous. So you're like, we told you. That's all you want. I mean, how can he keep outdoing himself? I mean, he put the guy in a sleeper hold. It's like he thinks he's Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. He's a psycho. I love watching how unhinged Draymond is. So I'm looking forward to him doing something really stupid that costs his team a game.
Truly sagacious words from the comedian Sam Morril. But I do declare I would like to know whether the ineffable Stephen Curry will have one of the...
Why are you talking like that? What is happening?
Well, I'm Dom Kang. I'm a promoter, and we have a showdown.
I thought you were Samuel
Minnesota.
Jackson and Django Unchained. Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
Oh.
Excellent. Sam's a little unhinged here. Give me a funnier wrestling name that you could have chosen as a professional comedian than Ted DiBiase.
Rowdy Roddy Piper might have worked better, Dan. I'm thinking of that right now. I f***ed up.
No, $1 Million Man was the one, especially when he won sleeper hold as a finish. Sergeant Slaughter went with it, like the Cobra Clutch.
All right, I shouldn't rethink it. All right.
Sam,
all right.
DiBiase is universally funny as a comedic name. You will not do a lot better than Ted DiBiase comedic. Go ahead, try. I want to.
He did. Let's let the man go.
See you later, Sam. Good talking to you.
Good talk. Go Knicks.
What are you guys laughing about?
I mean, that was a great appearance. To be honest, maybe it's because I'm rooting for the Knicks now, but I definitely see it with Sam. I mean, the line with it's like West Side Story with fentanyl is just crazy.
Fantastic.
It was a great hit from Sam. He gets, I guess, really fired up when he's doing these morning show hits.
He wasn't lying when he said, I looked the meth heads in their eyes and let them know your first high could not compare to how I feel right now. That's the most energetic I've ever seen him. That's the most effervescent. Hold on. Well, I got the Don King in there again. Huh?
Don Kang,
Sometimes-
not the Don Kang.
Yeah, gotta get
Don Kang snuck in one of my favorite words of all time, by the way, ineffable.
Ineffable.
It's a wonderful, you never hear anybody use that word. Thank you, Don Kang.
You're welcome. I'll let him
Yes.
know when he comes
Thank
back.
you.
I would like to talk for just a moment, if we could, about lies that come back to bite you, okay? Because I don't know if you guys, when I asked this question of the room, the entirety of the room, Do you guys have any thoughts on, let's do this in honor of Stugotz in general, the Stugotz Lifetime Achievement Award for lying. Lies that come back to bite you. Amin, would you have any nominees here on something that, because I see you smiling.
Yeah, I had one that happened to me this last weekend. My phone died, and then someone seeing me use my phone. Oh, wow. Yeah. And I just completely forgot I told the lie. Oh, no. And then I was like, I stumbled into charged it a little bit, but the person who found out knew I was lying. And it was like, I just couldn't keep it's not, how they say you can't keep your lies straight? I couldn't keep my lie straight. Just one lie. Couldn't keep it straight.
Well, that's what every liar says. That one lie, I couldn't keep it straight. That's probably not your one lie.
It was the one I got caught on.
What was their reaction? Were they hurt?
I mean, it was just kind of like disappointment / disgust.
Was it a person we know?
No.
And how much sewage and shame did you stew in on, I hurt that person's feelings by accident because I was just avoiding them and I lied to avoid them?
Well, okay, so here's the problem. This isn't the first time that this person has caught me in a lie that came back to bite me. I also once said that my Apple Watch is only there to keep track of my steps and alert me if I get an email. I don't get any texts on my Apple Watch.
Man, you really don't want to talk to this person, huh?
Why do you keep interacting with someone you want to lie to so much? Like, just cut them out of your life.
I just don't want to be held accountable to having to respond every single time someone sends me a message.
Or this specific person.
Well, this person seems to catch on really quickly.
Could this person be watching right now?
God, I hope not. Well, I mean, I got caught already both times, so it's like I'm 0 for 2, so it's not. They're not learning anything new here.
But you're kind of admitting that you don't want to respond to this person ever.
No, I just don't want to respond outside of my own time frame. I can't be the only one who gets lies that come back to bite me, right? Someone else here has one, right?
Well, I feel like what just happened there is the room stared at you and no one else had anything because you're the only one who smiled when I first brought it up.
Because I'm the only one who's okay with showing my vulnerability.
Thank you, Dom Kang.
The liar is the only honest one in the room.
That is correct.
That's America right there, strictly in the United States.
Thank you, guys. Zaslow, I don't believe that Greg Cody has ever been so cheap as to do what Zaslow has recently done, which is, I'm going to allege an act of bravery that is, I'm going to say, borderline dangerous. How much did you pay for a Spirit flight?
You paid for a Spirit flight?
No, what's worse than that? No, hold on a second.
I had to get home from Atlanta the other day, and
Greyhound was out of the option.
When I'm searching for flights, the ticket for one way home from Spirit is $35.
Don't fall for it.
You get what you pay for.
Don't fall for it.
What do you mean get what I pay for? I'm here. Okay. I mean, I got home. That's what I paid
Atlanta.
for.
It's like an hour.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
But did you pay for bags and stuff? That's how they get you.
No. I made sure that I had a carry-on that would fit everything, and I saw the $35. Like, I don't care how I'm getting home. For $35, I got to do it, right?
They charge you for the carry-on. They charge you for not sitting in a middle seat. They charge you if you're going to have a glass of water. They charge you for boarding at a certain time.
I just sat there and raw dogged. They don't do Wi-Fi either.
It had to be $100 out the door, though. Like, it says 35, but they get you all these fees.
No, I think I made it happen. $35. I told my son, I'm like, hey man, we're flying Spirit. He was very upset. He goes, are we sitting on the wing? You know?
Yeah. Did it look like the steerage in the Titanic where they were playing like harmonicas and accordions?
I had to I had to do it.
When you say you were flying Spirit, you actually had to fly the plane because at that money, you don't even get a pilot, right? I mean, how much did you spend for a bag of peanuts? $5?
I didn't buy anything. I told you I raw dogged it.
He's not listening at this portion of the show generally.
Do you mean you flew in Spirit? Like you're supposed to go to Atlanta, but you didn't actually go?
No, and I didn't purchase the seats because you're right. If you get anything but a middle seat, apparently, you have to pay for it. So I'm with my son. We're seated in different rows.
How old is
I didn't
your
choose
son?
my seat. I didn't want to pay for it.
How old is your son?
16.
And how does
That's
CPS?
old enough to
How did
say
CPS react?
He's a big boy. You can be all right. You sit right there. I'm gonna sit over here. Shout me out if you need me,
None of you have ever taken a $35 Spirit flight. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Have you ever taken a $35 Spirit flight?
Well, and let me also add a little bit of context. So it was either taking the $35 flight home or the next cheapest flight at the time that I needed it was $250.
Yeah, that's the one I
Times
take.
2.
That's the one that I take.
I got to take the Spirit flight.
No, you don't. No, because
Yeah.
I kind of want to ensure that I'll be okay.
He's here, and if you're not okay, you're dead.
I'm
Who
here.
cares? What difference does it make? The $220,
If you're not
you're
okay,
dead.
you're
Who
dead.
cares?
Who cares what
Yeah, you're
difference
dead.
does it make?
Yeah,
What?
what's-
I'm sorry. No,
what's
death
your
is
dead?
only like the worst
Oh,
thing
please.
possible.
Well, but he's saying it's not like you're being tortured, you know? It's just all of a
Yeah.
sudden.
I'm not being tortured.
It's over.
My
I'm
final
gone.
moments
What
are,
difference
oh
does
my
it make?
God, I'm dying in a fireball.
If I were to look up, honestly, the airline disasters, I don't think Spirit's on any of those lists.
I mean, we haven't actually had many airline disasters. There's been a recent uptick, to which I would say now would be the time to take the $200 flight.
Now
No.
batting number 99, Spirit Airlines.
I'll tell you, man, if I need to get somewhere and I see a $35 flight, I have to take it.
I didn't know there was such a thing.
Your son's not going to let you forget this. This is going to be a story that you're going to hear about.
How's
for a
he not
while.
going to let me forget it? We got home.
Yeah, but it's just bad. It's just bad.
It was an
It's
hour.
bad news.
To Atlanta's a nothing flight.
Bad
Totally.
news. Bad
Totally.
news.
I didn't fly international in Spirit.
Bad news. You sat in a different row as your son. You're going to hear about that.
At 16, he doesn't want to sit next to his dad anyways. Like, honestly, they were on a trip. You went to what? You went to like a concert or something together? Like, yeah, they had enough time together.
Did you teach him how to fashion a shank out of a toothbrush?
The
You guys are flying elitists around here. I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, no,
here.
when it comes to like Spirit Airlines.
$250
yes,
was the next flight.
I went on Spirit Airlines
two.
once.
Not a bad fare.
I went on Spirit Airlines once in my 20s. It was also to Atlanta.
And what happened? You're here.
I decided never again because of my experience on Spirit Airlines.
What happened?
It was a hell ride.
Why?
It was terrible. It was delayed several hours. The seats were uncomfortable. My knees were in my chest. It was turbulent. Everyone was rude. I didn't feel safe.
That sounds
Shall I
made
go on and on and on about why I decided my experience there was so bad I shall never do this again?
Now, Mike, let me ask a follow-up question. Did you bring any cartons of cigarettes for bartering purposes?
For bartering, absolutely. Everyone knows that you have to do that.
Got to. How else are you going to use the bathroom? You think you just walk up and use the bathroom on a Spirit
They
flight?
have bathrooms?
Oh, they do. You just got to bring like 3 cartons of cigarettes with you, though.
$35, man. Had to do it.
What a night in the NBA last night. Huge upsets in game 1. And there were some really hard tickets out there. In fact, an Academy Award-winning filmmaker didn't get tickets to one of the games, and he had to go to the Met Gala instead. And all he had to do was download the game time.
Yeah, so easy.
Yeah, so most people don't have the Met Gala to fall back on. So what do you do when you want to go to an event that is sold out? When you want to go specifically to an NBA playoff game that is sold out? Like this filmmaker, you should have downloaded the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code Dan for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed, incredible ticket coverage. For me, Game Time is the best in the secondary market. I use it all the time, especially come playoff time.
Chris Cody in a previous segment, I don't know if you guys saw it on video, if you caught it or not, but Chris Cody was pantomiming what looked like a pretty happy roller coaster descent into hell of the plane is crashing, I'm a fireball, I'm screaming. What have I done with it? Yes, it seemed happier than I would have imagined. Yes, that was, you were Arnold Schwarzenegger falling from the sky.
I'm falling!
Yes.
To quote Billy, though, what's the big deal?
Well, that is... I enjoyed...
If you're dead, what difference does it make if you saved $190?
No,
That
no,
2 minutes, Billy,
Yeah, that 2
will
minutes
suck.
of falling. That like, yeah, I understand. No, I don't want my last 2 minutes
sorry.
on Earth begging for death
Am I
to
talking
take me away.
Am I talking to a ghost right now? No, you're alive.
I'm not going to give you buy-in on this one, pal. Like, I don't want to die in an airplane crash, and I'm not going to pretend like it's no big deal.
Spirit has had
You
zero
don't wanna
fatal
bite into an
crashes
onion
in
anymore.
26 years.
You're like, I don't-
zero. It's impossible to have less than 0 fatal crashes
I'm sorry,
in 26 years.
Daredevil, the man without fear. I didn't know you were this hard ass all of a sudden.
Billy, to be fair, you don't want the last 2 minutes of your life being like, damn, why did I buy a Spirit ticket? That's it. It's not.
That's
I'm not-
almost worse than death.
I should have spent the
like,
$220.
I could have avoided all of this.
Also, I didn't bring any cartons with me.
Oh, the cigarettes for barter would have been such a good idea. I'm dead.
Wish I could get on a Spirit flight right now.
Pack a parachute. They're going to charge you, but,
The thing that I saw happening very clearly, again, I'm looking at our erstwhile executive producer and what's being talked about, because what I'm hearing there is there are a lot of people who need that $200 and a $35 Spirit flight. You can shame people about it, but he did get home successfully. And while we can be classist or elitist about $200 doesn't matter, I need to save my life. When Chris Cody is a fireball with the last couple minutes of his life and he's enjoying it and it's Schwarzenegger, it's, oh, I'm dying. It's also, I'm dying, and I've done some simple math. I knew that I made the price of my life $200 when I chose this particular flight. So it's not just that you're a fireball that's made a terrible mistake on, I only valued my life at $200. That realization while on fire burns a little extra.
No, it's even worse than that, Dan, because as he's crashing to earth in his final moments, he can't even hold his son. Because his son is sitting in a different middle seat.
I would find a way to switch seats, all right? When I start to see that this thing is going awry.
Excuse me, is anyone next to you?
Yeah, I would manage to get next to my boy.
You got Zaz going, excuse me, pardon me.
No, the G-forces on this make this totally plausible.
A story I have not gotten yet to today, and I've been remiss in not doing so. I've done a couple of things today that have been a little delayed, and this particular story. Yesterday, when I saw the Ravens statement and sort of did some inventory on the last 10 years of American history through the Ravens organization, okay? Sports was the place where they kind of showed us what domestic abuse looks like. It's one of the greatest scandals in the history of sports that Ray Rice introduced us to. Oh, that's what it looks like when somebody beats the holy hell out of their significant other. And that's what it looks like when a Ravens organization rallies to protect its beloved Ray Rice. And that's what it looks like when a Ravens organization is pushed to the brink on, hey, do you want to have a comment on Colin Kaepernick as a backup? And the owner says, pray for us. This is one of the best organizations in sports, not just football, in sports. It's been great, and only because of the Patriots are we not even regarding them higher. The Ravens represent football very well. Football played well. Football played with discipline. They've won a lot of games because their kicker is better than everyone else. They had Adam Vinatieri for the modern age. He was the best. We all knew that when we're playing with math, right? 7 points or 3 points. The 3 points are hugely important. All the games are close. Justin Tucker is hugely valuable and beloved because, holy shit, the guy never misses and makes me feel good all the time, and other teams fear him. He's a valuable kicker.
When you have a 2-minute drill and most teams need to get to like the 30 to give themselves a chance, they go to the 45. They have no idea. Well, they're about to find out, and they found out a little bit last year.
No, they found out a lot last year, and that's why he's waived. Be clear on that. Be clear on that. He's not waived because of the crimes. He's waived because he was bad last year.
I mean, that's what they said, right? Football reasons.
So let me give you two scenarios. Scenario one, he has a more typical Justin Tucker year last year, but he has all of these issues.
Hold on. Before we get to the hypotheticals that we can have a field day with on is it morally right? Just let me get through the part of this that outraged me yesterday, legitimately pissed me off as somebody who can be pretty numb to how cold sports can be. The Ravens falling all over themselves to release Justin Tucker with a hand to their head and faint on this hurts so much. To tell you all that it hurts because it feels like Justin Tucker's the victim of, oh, God, he was gross on alleged predatory stuff that seems reliable enough to be true no matter how shameless people are today about denying scandals. A lot of people coming forth, ew, creepy, disgusting behavior that the Ravens can't bring themselves to castigate in public as they release the following statement. Sometimes football decisions are incredibly difficult, and this is one of those instances. Considering our current roster, we have made the tough decision to release Justin Tucker. Justin created many significant and unforgettable moments in Ravens history. His reliability, focus, drive, resilience, and extraordinary talent made him one of the league's best kickers for over a decade. We are grateful for Justin's many contributions while playing for the Ravens. We sincerely wish him and his family the very best in this next chapter of their lives. That's Executive Vice President and General Manager Eric DeCosta. And what that is, and this should be overt to all, I think, right? I don't know if this bothers you at all, but this is a person whose punctuation on his career with very credible information, no matter what it is that we have to say about alleged here, was predatory in nature over women who were helpless in a way that's very similar to Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson wouldn't deserve a statement of release like that right now, and Justin Tucker doesn't deserve a statement of release. I'm hesitant to even use the word release given what he's accused of. But what the Ravens did there was not leadership. It was not hard. They're defending somebody as if he's a victim when he made others the victim, and they're doing it with a bad kicker. They're not even doing it with the courtesy of a player who plays actual football respected by other football players because it's collisions. They're doing it to protect the precious kicker that no one respects just because he's worth 3 points at a time and just because that means more to the Ravens than real victims and women. And I just wish one time one of these football organizations would stand for something, not virtue signaling, but just stand for something that says, hey, it's not okay, even if you have to cover your ass legally, which they do have to cover their ass legally. Like, I'm not pretending or moralizing here and saying there's not a lot of cover your ass legally that you have to do here because he hasn't yet been convicted of things, and there's plausibly some stuff that he can do legally that makes it seem like he was fired before it was legally just to do so on things that are accusations and not yet crimes.
I would say the counterpoint to that, though, is if he was a good kicker, they may not have released him.
They would not. They would not.
So, they are releasing him because he was a bad kicker. You're making it seem like they're using the accusations as an excuse for releasing him, and they're taking this moral stand, which they probably wouldn't have taken had he been a good kicker.
I think he's probably still around, though, were not for the allegations. He's arguably the greatest kicker of all time, and I'd say what's pretty telling is, where's the big tribute video? Baltimore? Like, where's this? Seemed like you're showering praise on Justin Tucker. Why haven't you put out the tribute video to your social channels? Oh, that's right, because there's something around this whole Justin Tucker story that certainly plays into what you allege is a football decision that was certainly made a lot easier because he all of a sudden, because I can only presume, had all this stuff going around his life that it affected his on-field performance. We got clued into that later last season, and we were like, well, I guess this makes sense because what we saw last year from Justin Tucker was confusing because and he was bad by most metrics, but he was really bad by his standard. It was shocking because every time that guy came out, you knew it was going in between the posts. You knew that he would do things at a higher clip than almost anyone else in the history of the game.
And that was my question. My question is, had he had a typical Justin Tucker year, wait, let me say it all. Had he had a typical Justin Tucker year, but had these allegations, would he still be on the roster? And then the second question is, had he had the year he had last year with no allegations, would he still be on the roster?
So we can have this conversation at any point through the last 20 years of crimes in sports. Can you guys look up for me something, please? Because I think Mike is understating how bad Justin Tucker was last year. I think, I have not read the kicker numbers recently, but I believe that Justin Tucker went from the surest thing in the sport, best there's ever been, to if not the worst kicker in the league. I think it might have been worst. But if not the worst, one of the very worst. And so now I tell you and I ask you, the audience, what's tough about this decision? Like, why can't you make the stand on, man, this is like, again, they have to wait for legal and they have to wait for times that you can cut people. And there are corporate things that have to be adhered to so that you can make sure that you know in front of everybody, we have to make a corporate football decision that covers everybody's ass here. But would you not like to hear one team be able to talk about to be brave enough to work around the the lawyer stuff and simply say, we released Justin Tucker, period. We have released Justin Tucker. That's not even a stand. That's asking a football team to say about a bad kicker, get out of here. Like, that's not what you're accused of. It's not, never mind whether or not you're a good or bad kicker. What you're accused of will knock out any kicker because it's the kicker. And we should respect women more than that.
His numbers were actually pretty comparable to Young Wei-O and Evan McPherson, two guys that I believe still have their jobs that we know to be good, that had down years last year, and we're not doing the whole football reasons there. I think for Justin Tucker, if none of this stuff is surrounding him, I think the greatest kicker in NFL history gets brought back for another opportunity to see. They may still draft a kicker like, okay, well, I guess.
They did.
Yeah. Well, they did because I think this stuff was surrounding him. Justin Tucker, if anyone at that position is afforded one slightly down, well, not slightly for him, but slightly in terms of NFL average, slightly down season, it would be him.
Well, that's the point. That's the part that's so frustrating is they absolutely released him. It's like, okay, they did the right thing. They released him because he's involved with these allegations. So they did the right thing here. But they're not willing to admit that that's why that they did it. Like, why can't one time they just say, we don't want to be associated with anyone involved in these type of allegations? A player of his caliber who got that statement, by the way, which was a nice statement, a heartfelt statement for a guy who's been there forever and is one of the great kickers of all time. If that guy has the season he just had, he's getting afforded another season to make good on it. But he was clearly let go because of the allegations. So why can't they just one time say, we don't want to be associated with this?
Because then if they do that, and then the next year, a much better player gets similar anything.
Well, they drafted a player in the second round this year who dealt with sexual allegations.
But it's just
this draft.
Similar anything. God almighty. Similar anything. There have been two of them, and there's not a similar anything in like the history of us covering football. Similar anything to what he and Deshaun Watson did?
No, he's had allegations, though, to the point, like, they could avoid the issue entirely. They don't seem to be. So it's almost as if, like, you do have reason to believe that football reasons played into this. It's not exclusively the football reason, though. I refuse to believe that. Justin Tucker, it's a reason why we've yet to see the tribute video, because they don't want to put it out there because they don't want to deal with the comment section.
You'll never see that tribute video.
And I think that's to Zaz's point. I think you're right. They're cutting him because of the issues. Yeah. But at the same time, they're trying to do him a quote-unquote solid by like, hey, we're not going to like bury you by saying, oh, whatever.
Okay, but
So they're trying to be nice to him by saying, oh, it's totally a football reason. Just the fact that they had to say, for total football reasons, who says that in a press release when you release someone? You say, yeah, today we parted ways with so-and-so, we wish him the best. That's how you usually release someone. So the fact that they put all that in there is because they're trying to cover for him and for the allegations that have been made against
and cover for themselves too,
for sure,
because they've done some reporting how early in this process they were notified and they knew.
I don't know how the audience receives this. I don't know if the audience thinks this is moralizing or virtue signaling. Football reasons. I want, just like we just did the math on, I'm a fireball, I'm burning. What's my life worth? $200. Football is telling you that if you are somebody who allegedly spends a lot of time revealing himself to masseuses, doing sexually deviant things that in a massage parlor that makes several credible women, many women, covered by many journalists, say this was something that he was repeatedly doing. Football has told you now, the Ravens, one of the great organizations in sports, you want us to be moral about these things? Here's the price if we've got somebody that we think has a name in our uniform, even if it's a kicker. We will respect women if he goes from 90% of his kicks to 80% of his kicks. That's what women and victims are worth to us as a football organization. And also, when that 10% goes down, in the statement, we will praise him and not say anything about it. If he goes down, that's what they're telling you. That league where the moral stand of what these things cost is, if you're a deviant, an alleged deviant like Justin Tucker doing Deshaun Watson things, the way you will get waived is if your percentage goes from 90% to 80%, and we will not say anything about your crimes publicly. We will take care of you at the end.
Well, Justin Tucker's percent actually went from like 86 to 73, which is extreme. He's 35 years old. Those two things and the off-field things saw his demise.
I'm just saying that 13%, like,
It's huge.
But no, absorb it. You say it's huge. I think you're doing the math wrong. Absorb that what the NFL is telling you here is that if you're an alleged criminal with shameful crimes and you're a kicker and you go down by 13%, that's about how much they value women, and they're not going to say so in the statement.
Well, look how far it took for the NFL to decide this Deshaun Watson, for the Browns specifically to decide this Deshaun Watson thing isn't for us. It's the ineffectiveness. And he got a lot of opportunities when it was very clear. It went over. The Ravens are just following the set standard. Like, these allegations, seemingly, yeah, there's suspensions and punishment, but they're not being thrown in jail.
I mean,
we still talk about them as allegations and settlements. Deshaun Watson, at the game's most important position, survived it. Surely a kicker could.
There isn't a team in the NFL that would have released a Justin Tucker in his circumstances and made specific reference to the allegations. It's just not done. He hasn't been convicted of a crime. He hasn't been charged with a crime, to my knowledge. The civil suits haven't been settled. It is alleged right now. Now, do I think he's guilty based on everything I've read and heard? Yes, I absolutely do. But for his club not to mention that in a statement is not the least bit surprising.
But Greg, the counterpoint is, okay, you don't have to mention it. Why would they mention football reasons specifically?
Well, they shouldn't have, and it was much too flowery.
Right. Well, if it was football reasons, we'd get the proper football goodbye for one of the game's greatest legends. I think what everyone's taken issue here and why Dan's crumpling up the paper is the way that the Ravens approached this last year was kind of bull. They never had to really address this head on. And now, when he's on his way out and you conveniently hang your hat on football reasons, but skirt all the other football reason stuff that you would with honoring a proper legend, it seems like the Ravens are trying to get one over on us.
Fair or unfair for me to say, it's not that they're trying to get one over on us. One of the great football organizations has gotten one over on us because I'm giving you the history of one of the best football teams there have been in the last 20 years. When it comes to Ray Rice and Colin Kaepernick, pray for us.
Don't forget Ray Lewis.
And now this, thank you. the organization that gave you and birthed all of this with Ray Lewis, but also gave you Ray Rice and Justin Tucker and pray for us on Colin Kaepernick. It's a fairly extraordinary thing for me to be able to look at a 15, 20-year body of work and say, look at that. Baltimore Ravens, one of the great franchises, one of the great leadership football franchises. Cowards.
Look at Kansas City, though.
Cowards, though, is what I'm saying. Look at what, yes, you can look at Kansas City, but when I'm saying one of the great football organizations, stand for something. You've got the confidence of, you guys have been really good for 20 years. You can stand for something. And what do you stand for? Protecting Justin Tucker, protecting your own, protecting the compound, protecting the huddle, and not standing for anything other than cowardice in plain sight when you can actually make a literal statement on something.
Okay, and what would that statement have said?
It should have came during the season, and they cowered to a bunch of pressure, but they would probably hold up what they did with Ray Rice as, look, we did the hard thing. At that point, it was a pretty obvious thing, but remember how good Ray Rice was when that video burst on the scene.
Hold on. They did the right thing when that video burst on the scene. Before that video burst on the scene, they didn't quite do the right thing.
Wait, but was Ray Rice that good? I thought his last year he was 3.4 yards a carry or something. I think they did the same thing with Ray Rice.
It's another data point as to why I think Justin Tucker would be given another opportunity, because Ray Rice was actively being given another opportunity to recapture his form.
Dan, to your point about the Ravens being one of the great organizations and look at how they skated, again, I would point to, who would we call the greatest organization of the 21st century? They had murderers. Yeah. An
alleged serial killer.
A single murderer, not murderers, a single murderer.
Murderers is what I meant to say. Murderers.
Multiple
Murders.
Single murder. It was one. It was
one
murderer.
One murderer.
One murderer. One murderer.
One
Let
murderer.
me finish. There's an extra syllable from murder to murderer.
Yeah.
One murderer.
We're all trying to help him.
Murderers. Though. Multiple murderers. It's a weird word, murderers. Sounds like a country person just heard, murderers. Oh, I hurt murderers.
It's a hard thing to laugh around.
You got to find the funny in everything.
The Celtics last night.
Segue.
Speaking of New England
LeBron.
sports.
Took 45 uncontested three-pointers. They missed 32 of them. That's not going to happen again. So we're clear. That has nothing to do with anybody's defense, incidentally. We can talk about OG's perimeter defense. That has nothing to do with anybody's perimeter defense. The Celtics missed 32 three-pointers last night that were uncontested.
Can I talk about three particular attempts that I really really hated? One was Drew Holiday grabs an offensive rebound that off of a missed three, grabs it in the corner, turns around and wildly pulls up another three. Like just casually, just throws it up there. I'm like, what are you doing? And number two, and this one really bothered me, and I get it. We say this about him all the time, but I'm like, come on, guy. Jason Tatum, you got Jalen Brunson on you on an island. That's the matchup that every team that's playing against the Knicks is looking for. How can we get Jalen Brunson in single coverage against our best perimeter player? And this Jamoke takes not one, but two step-back threes? What are you doing?
Please.
Well, what they're doing is being lazy, is what it is.
No,
It's
but
so much easier
did you
to
hear-
do that.
Let's examine for a second what the Celtics have done to basketball and the poison that is them having it easy last year and Mike Ryan being frustrated all offseason because he's like, Tatum didn't even have to show us anything if all he's going to do is just take every step-back jumper and you're just better at threes than everybody and you're just better than everybody. And they beat the respect out of you by making all their threes. Tatum last night, look, it's not Brunson missed a shot at the rim, an easy one, and none of us are questioning how clutch he is. But man, Tatum doesn't even get tested on the clutch. And in last night's game, those shots were weak. That's a guy that's used to, I'm going to get to take all of these 33-pointers every spot, and I don't even have to break down Brunson. I'll step back because I can get this shot whenever I want for the rest of my life, and history will not respect me if that's what I am at the end of games because I don't even have to try at the end of games. I'll make 14% of these, and none of them will be in tough games, and we'll beat everybody by 5.
Zaz, you were surprised that I wasn't as thrown off by Daigneault saying we would foul up three. Again, maybe a little later in the clock, but as an overall philosophy. I one-up you with Joe Mazzulla after the game being asked about, hey, you guys missed 40-some-odd threes. 19 of your 20 attempts in the third quarter were three-pointers.
Which, think about say that. Can you say that part again? Because I feel like you say that, and maybe some people watching and listening, they don't really grasp what you just said. Tell everybody again in the third quarter what their field goal attempts were.
The Boston Celtics took 23 field goal attempts in the third quarter.
They were winning by 20. They were in the third quarter. The Boston Celtics, who have not been tested, they give up a 20-point lead because they just start taking jumpers from 40 feet away.
They took 20 field goal attempts in the third quarter. 19 of them were from three.
That's garbage. It's garbage basketball. I'm so over the Celtics where they're winning basketball games with math. I like analytics. I like learning more about the game. I like the numbers and to be able to help us figure things out. But the Celtics are just winning with math. Let's shoot as many three-pointers as possible. It's one of the worst things that has ever happened to the league.
But they won. They won a championship.
Yeah, but
with math, because they're really good at shooting.
So why are they going to change their game plan just because they've got a 20-point lead?
They're not.
That's what they do.
Well, I hope they do, because it's not just math. It's also conveniently, we have this core where everyone questions their mental fortitude, and we had the pristine luck of every round the opposing team's best player got injured. Until we made it to the finals against a team nobody expected to be there in the NBA Finals, and they somehow got lucky and won an NBA championship. You need some luck there.
Not lucky.
They got lucky in that every team's best player in the playoffs in that Eastern Conference got hurt. And what happened last night was they were playing with their food because they expected to come easy to them.
And they're lazy.
Because it did come easy to them last year.
I mean, Dan, they attempted 63s and 37 twos.
Guys.
Zaz, it wasn't even, I'm sorry, Dan, but it wasn't even like, man, like we couldn't get any dribble penetration or whatever, or couldn't get to, they didn't even try. It was strictly perimeter based, and I'm going to stick up for analytics. Analytics doesn't say keep shooting like a dumbass, right? The most valuable shot in basketball is a layup or a dunk. That even with all the threes in the corner, it's still a layup or a dunk is number one on that list, right? And so they didn't even attempt. Tatum had one layup in that fourth quarter or / overtime, and I was like, oh, I thought you were allergic. What happened? How did you get lost on the way to the three-point line and find yourself under the rim?
Fans love talking about, what adjustments you're going to make from game to game. Halftime adjustments, as if we can never have the coach make an in-game adjustment. And Joe Mazzulla, after the game, who, by the way, I don't know that Joe Mazzulla is a good coach. Joe Mazzulla, after the game, has to go look. He says he has to go look at the tape and see what they did wrong. Joe, you shot 1,000 threes. You missed them all, and you kept shooting them all game long. What are you talking about? You have to go back and look at the film. Do something else with your offense and shoot threes.
This is what I'm telling you is confusing about the evolution of this sport, okay? Because James Harden will be a plague forevermore for not doing this aesthetically well, but winning the MVP and saying, bleep off. It's all about efficiencies. I don't care whether you like how it looks. I don't care whether you think it's entertaining. When I'm sitting here doing a sports show with people I know who know sports, and Zaslow's sitting here saying out loud, I don't know if Joe Mazzulla is a good coach.
I don't.
And Mike is sitting here disrespecting what has been one of the great teams of the last 2 years over 2 full seasons that have trounced his Heat with, they're lucky. When what they've actually done is Brad Stevens did what Theo Epstein did, which is like, yeah, I'll do accounting. I'll figure out how to get Drew Holiday and Porzingis, and we'll take all of the threes, and we'll fix the math of the sport, but also make it less interesting. And I'm going to be confounded by whether Joe Mazzulla is a good coach because they've just fixed 50 threes in your face, and Pritchard is better than anyone out there shooting like ridiculous threes because they have the pieces in place that both ruins the sport and makes the analysis of it stink when we give it so much math that Mike Ryan is like, the Celtics are lucky, and Zaz is sitting here, is Joe Mazzulla a good coach? Oh, it's all because they're built better than everyone else. They're like in racing. They've got the better car.
Well, no one on this show has given them more credit for doing the hard thing and actually making the aggressive move. It's couched every single one of my Miami Heat takes, but the fact remains, no Jimmy Butler, no Joel Embiid. Halliburton gets hurt. Rick Carlisle, look at that Pacers series and look at their win probabilities and look at the bull that the Pacers did down the stretch to blow those games. It is irrefutable that they got lucky on their path to their first NBA championship, a championship that eluded that core for years on end.
This is what I'll say. Tom Haberstroh said this a long time ago. Every single champion in NBA history has an asterisk. Every single one. Because someone got hurt, someone got suspended. That's part and parcel of the journey. I'm not going to take anything away from their championship as a result because every little champion before them has benefited in one way or another. Having said that, Dan, they don't have the best roster. They haven't broken the sport. They play well. They win a lot of games. Guess what? So do a lot of other teams in this league. The Nuggets win a lot of games. Have they broken the sport? They won as many titles as the Celtics have, right? The Bucks have won as many titles as the Celtics have in the last 5 years. We literally since 2018, we've had a new champion every year. So I don't think there's any one team that says, "Yeah, we broke basketball," and everyone has to fall in our way. Now, it's yes, the 3-point line is more important now than it's ever been in basketball. We figured it out. We figured out taking contested 2-point jumpers is bad. Take that step back, take a 3. But as I said, the road to the most efficient offense still begins with in the rim in the restricted area. Number 2 is a free throw. Number 3 is a corner 3. Number 4 is a wing 3. And the idea also is it's not baking, right? It's not one part, this instant result. You have to be able to adjust. Put too much salt? Okay, let me add some more sauce over here. What the Celtics do is like, no, I got to keep adding salt. They said there's salt in the recipe. Got to keep adding salt. And that's not how basketball is played. It's not played by robots, Dan. It's played by human beings that have to, Dan, they have to make decisions.
Your tears are salty and all of it's
my
salty.
Tears?
No, because listen,
they lost the game last night. What, my tears?
I'll tell you what tears sound like when you're a Heat basketball show. The Boston Celtics have been indisputably, now we can talk about Cleveland and OKC, for the last 2 years up until right now, clearly the best team in basketball by point differential. You can whimper all you want about that. Give them their respect on what they've actually been the last 2 years. You can tell me you think Denver's better. You can tell me you think OKC or Cleveland is better. But to date, no one challenges them. They've made it look easy. And I would not be surprised if they win the series by 5 games.
Who'd they play?
The Knicks, if they beat them in the... What?
That was you again.
All right, we got Juju with us. Huge Celtics fan, of course. He's got his Celtics jersey. I don't like that. I'm not going to lie. Juju, what did you make of last night? Are you nervous now after the Celtics missed 1,000 threes and they trail the series 1-0?
Yeah, man, what a travesty. What an embarrassment. Like Amin said, once you start taking threes and they're not going in, you got to be able to adjust. My high school coach would have took a timeout mid-third quarter and said, next person to shoot a three, you're coming to sit by me. Let's get some drives to the hole. It's inexcusable. One 2-pointer in the whole third quarter. I was watching the game. I was telling my girl over and over. I said, another three. We haven't shot a 2-pointer this entire quarter. And they kept shooting and kept missing. You got Jalen Brunson on you, Jason Tatum. Drive to the damn hole. You got these folks on you that I don't see nobody stopping them if they put their head down and go to the hole. You're either going to get fouled or find somebody to dish it to. They don't have a good – I agree with you, bro. Zaslow, rarely do I agree with you. But if this is on Joe Mazzulla, man, you got to be able to make some adjustments. This is the playoffs. This ain't no play game. So I really hate what the Celtics are doing. Everything you guys are saying is right. We're ruining the game and it's boring basketball to watch.
Am I supposed to believe that I really don't know if Joe Mazzulla is a good coach or not, but am I supposed to believe that Mazzulla at some point there early in the fourth quarter doesn't tell his guys, hey, you know what? Maybe we post up Jason Tatum. He's got a size advantage. Hey, you know what? Maybe we get to the free throw line, Jalen. Let's slow the game down, get 2 shots at the line. Why aren't we changing things up?
Well, he was remarkably defensive in his post-game press conference. He said in any game there are about 8 to 10 shots where we could have probably done better. And I said maybe it was closer to 5 or 8. Maybe it was closer to 10 this game. But he said overall that's not why we lost. He kept reiterating the shot selection wasn't an issue. He had no problem with it. And so it's one of those things where Juju, as a Celtics fan, how do you feel? He comes across as really arrogant, but we tend to not accept that from someone who hasn't been around for a while, right? If Popovich is arrogant, we're like, well, he's won 5 titles and he's won a zillion games. But we kind of look at Joe Mazzulla as, you inherited this team 2 years ago that was already on the cusp. We all think the guy you took over for is the better coach. I don't know, from the outside looking in, I would think that you would be like, who are you to be so cocky about this strategy that clearly was flawed?
Right. Like you said, it's unearned arrogance. Ime Udoka set this team up. As you see, he took his talents to Houston, and Houston is a competitor now. I feel like if you take Joe Mazzulla and put him on another team, dare I say it wouldn't be the same situation. Like you said earlier in the show, Mark Daigneault had the perfect response. Damn, maybe I went to the fouling too soon. That's on me. I'm the coach. I decided to do that. Joe Mazzulla never has any kind of accountability. He's too smug in these situations. Bro, relax. We messed the game. We blew it. Show some humiliation. Show something other than your arrogance to these people who are coming to do their job.
Well, Juju, let me get your reaction to this, because if I were a Celtics fan today, I would be like, 3-point game got us here. Won a championship, got us where we are now. We had a terrible, historically bad night. That's not going to happen again. We're the champions. We're not going to change our game because of a 2-point overtime loss when we shoot worse than we're ever going to shoot again. Stick with what got you here. You win on threes, you're going to win on threes. This is our game.
Yeah, I mean, I feel you on that part, but the Knicks also out-toughed us yesterday. Like the game sealing play was a perfect example of the exact game. Mikal Bridges snatched the ball from Jalen Brown, and was they would just impose their will the entire second half. We showed no toughness. It's like, I don't like the softness we displayed and the finesse versus they were just going straight through our chest. OG Anunoby, salute, man.
Juju, how'd the audience take our Celtics-Knicks conversation today?
They took it pretty good. We had a couple of choice words said. Salute to Sam Morril. That was definitely was some bombs in the YouTube chat, but overall they liked it. You know what I mean?
Did they say any nice things about me?
They don't like to see you guys going back and forth. They love you, Zaz, and they love Greg Cody. Okay. We don't like to see you guys argue over what's a fact or what's a news article or what's that stuff.
Sometimes journalists go after each other, Juju, from
we
one
do have an
journalist to
update
another.
on that, by the way. Elliot Friedman, the best insider in all of hockey, has reported The ruling came on down. No additional punishment for Sam Bennett's collision with Anthony Stolarz.
And did he say
As first reported
Zaslow
by-
had it first, props to Zaslow?
No, even worse, he opined saying that there should have been a suspension.
Well, that's a lack of journalistic integrity, right, Greg?
No, I wouldn't say so. But, apparently when you and I go back and forth, people don't like that. So from now on, we'll be nothing but amicable.
No, I speak for myself.
Right. Also, there's been a couple of other dunks, buzzer beaters. As like Dan said, for the first time he saw a dunk buzzer beater. I tend to remember Dwight Howard had an alley-oop dunk buzzer beater back in the day, as well as I think the famous Jimmy V play when he run around the court. I feel like that was a Five Slamma Jamma buzzer beater at the last second. Neither here nor there. You feel me? Also, salute to Asia Wilson. The A1s dropped today. Second women's WNBA player with a shoe, and they look good. The pink guys, go get them if you can. They sold out on Nike instantly. But yeah, man, salute to Asia Wilson and all her efforts.
You got the plug?
Yeah, I mean, I'll text you a little later. I got you, bro.
Juju, how did the audience feel about a flight that only cost $35?
All right. That was actually a poll. Have you ever taken a $35 Spirit flight? 77% of the audience said no, they haven't.
Wow.
And I haven't either. You're a brave man.
I survived.
I have sources here who claim that they have a full week of Spirit flights booked.
Oh, wow.
A full week.
I'm about to take 5 flights on Spirit in the next 8 days.
Wow.
Yep, I'm flying from here to Orlando, Orlando to Pensacola, Pensacola back. I'm flying from here to New Orleans and New Orleans
Wow,
back.
been good to know you, Jeremy.
Yeah. I wasn't worried about it until I listened to the show today.
Was this on the grid?
No, this is just.
The Marlins are really dishing out their money, huh?
I'm Jewish.
Check
this
back.
out, man.
Might be saying he was.
Juju, what else we got for polls today?
Will the Warriors Timberwolves series have a chokehold within the first 120 seconds? 81% of the audience says yes, they will.
Wow, that makes sense.
Strictly in the United States.
Right. And also props to the Joker last night. What a wonderful performance from him and the Nuggets. I think they should announce the MVP award right when the season is over, because now I'm going to be swayed from the winner of this series now.
Why don't they do that, Amin?
No, they do it because for 2 reasons. One is they like to roll out the awards one at a time so everyone gets their shine. 2 is MVP usually gets awarded in the second round, which means if Shea wins it, we're getting it in game 2. If Joker wins it, we're going to get it in game 3. You heard it here first.
But I think the reason that what Juju is saying there, you want to do it like at the end of the regular season, because what if one of these guys lost in the first round and then you get the Dirk Nowitzki sad press
The
conference?
Dirk one was awkward.
Okay, we got the Dirk sad one. Can you name a second one?
No.
That's the point. You typically the MVP is pretty good. You have a pretty good team.
You got our ass there.
Juju, anything else?
Nah, man, it's a great show, man. Keep it up. So proud of y'all, man. Proud to be a part of this, man. Everybody outside listening to the show, keep your head up. Trouble don't last always.
Juju, let me ask you one thing as a Celtics fan, because you're lamenting the lack of toughness. That's typically a characteristic that is assigned to champions, especially reigning champions. I understand. You're a Celtics fan. The last thing any fan wants to hear is someone who is not a fan say, I don't think you actually earned that champion when you're the last one standing. But I do think that there's some truth, that there was some fortunate luck last year, and you want to see this core group get tested. Is that me being a hating-ass hater, or do you actually think that there's something to it?
Nah, I think it's something to it, because last year, I was hanging on to every game. People forget Jaylen Brown had to hit a buzzer beater 3-pointer to get to overtime versus the Celtics. After that, versus the Pacers, after they had gaffed away the last minute and a half of the game. I don't see them being the superpower that everybody else sees them as. I see them more like you see them. We was lucky last year. I'm not saying that it doesn't require a little luck, but I'm more of the idea or the thinking that you have versus us just being so dominant.
Tell Dan, because Dan is like, they've been running the sport the last time. I'm like, what are you talking about? That's the only one who thinks of the Celtics as the most dominant team of the last 2 years. They're good. They're good.
Yeah, and I think fortunate's a better word than luck. Every champion needs a little bit of luck, but not. I'm telling you, you'd be hard pressed to find a champion that had a run where the best player in every round to get to the final gets injured. That just flatly doesn't happen in a sport where one star means so much. Your best player, the Jimmy Butlers, the Joel Embiids, the Halliburtons, that means a lot in a playoff series, and it can't be decontextualized. It has to go over it, especially with the team that you have questions about still.
Pro Celtics conspiracy. What do you think? Arranged injuries. Thank you, Juju. That kind of thing. So forth.